live now. Hello? Is this thing actually working? That is an unironic question this time because it has been 8 months. So I expect...
Do you remember your password?
I have password managers.
Well, you forgot your password to the password manager, so...
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's been a few days, right?
A few days since...
A few days since I canceled my World of Warcraft subscription.
Oh, nice.
Right? That wasn't last. Yeah, we've been off since...
Yeah, it was a couple days ago. I think we did it on Monday.
Why are they streaming together? I thought they divorced. Well, listen, it's
contractual.
It's complicated. Well, see, what happened was we got back together for to do World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft killed our marriage the second time around. So.
Well, you got a split in the caffeine pill stake tied to your Patreon, and so there was some, contract law that was tied in there, and we have to stream
yes,
together.
I'm so glad somebody already just brought it up. Need to see Private Sessions playing the new Starfield update. First off, I don't even have the game installed. Second off, I'm not playing that update for anything less than $50.
No, you can't put a price on it like that low, because people will either fulfill it or crowdfund it.
It's only okay. It has to be a single donation.
I know I said I wasn't gonna do Shattered Space, but I think a Shattered Space video is gonna come.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm gonna see how it all plays out. I'm gonna see how it all plays out.
I mean, I think it would be best if you just
sit it out.
Yeah, made it, said fuck it forever.
Are you fucking shitting me? Oh, fuck. All right.
I told you, people will call you.
All right. Well, it's not gonna be tonight. Game's fucking giant.
It's a fucking like 120 gigabyte game. So.
All right. Well, I wanted to do more. I was gonna announce today that I want to do more impromptu streams like this. So. And some more. Like actually scheduled ones.
Now there's market interest in it. You'll have to announce that one so people can.
Yeah, I'll definitely
get in.
I would have announced this one if it wasn't like I had the idea as I was driving to McDonald's earlier today, like an hour ago.
To make him play Starfield chat.
Don't you guys know that's the game that made me have a mental breakdown? Oh, today's the first day of Mental Health Awareness Month too. So, yeah. So if any of you, haven't been around or anything, missed the news. That's where I was for a while. I had like had some mental issues and stuff back in November. I joke that it was Starfield. It really wasn't, but yeah. So I've been away for a while. I was planning on doing streams since I think I've been fucking talking about them since like January. Yeah. But I just kept getting sidetracked. Just like
we talked about that. We talked about that when we did the Halo stream. That we started in January coming up with all these stream ideas, and then I got sidetracked by the drama. So
yeah. Oh yeah, the drama and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's been a year.
It's been very eventful.
Are Tez 6 videos going to happen, or did BGS coverage end with Starfield? Oh, I'll do a Tez 6 video. I gotta see how this ends.
I won't commit. If I'm still...
who knows where we'll be
at? Yeah. Who even knows if we're going to still be doing videos by then? Like, the fucking TED 6 might come out in, like, 2035 for all we know.
Yeah, so, I'll post a link to the nursing home I get admitted to, and you can send a copy over there.
Yeah, you said something interesting earlier today in Discord where you said Emil wasn't in the Starfield patch video or whatever.
Well, let's clarify for those who didn't hear the news. There's a Starfield update video.
Yeah.
For the Steam beta they're putting out.
Well, it's already in beta. It's live now.
They listened to the criticism so well that Emil wasn't even in it.
Now.
East Van Peely was there, and I don't know the name of the third guy that was in that video. The one that was with East Van Peely.
Okay.
That might be their new like kind of lead gameplay side for Shattered Space since Will Shin left.
I got the patch notes on screen. Figured we'll we'll just go through this together.
Did you see that Nate from Fallout 4 is a war criminal?
No, they walked that back, I think.
No, he said that he just wanted to post what was a fun tidbit. They never walked it back.
It's still $70? Oh yeah.
Of course. And remember, 3 million times $70 equals this game's budget. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
rare MLW.
My counterpoint to him not being there is that he's not even working on Starfield anymore. Like my theory is that he's already doing pre-production for Fallout 5. Like the Amazon show did really well, and they're like, Emil, get on this, like right now. Like, come on.
We don't need a third rehash of the Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that, like, they could do so much positive press if they just announced that he's doing Fallout 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, this is the big Fallout guy who did 3 and 4. He's going to do 5. He's not going to do anything else. You know, he's not going to do Starfield or Test 6. So you got that to look forward to. I feel like it's a win-win-win.
Are we fired up with Fallout 5 first before Tez 6? They said
no.
Apparently there's a build already for Tez 6.
That's not surprising. I'm gonna imagine that, like, if you were a naughty employee, you got like sent to the Starfield testing mines, and then like all the luxurious jobs at Bethesda for like the year preceding Starfield's release was like working on Tez 6. So I wouldn't be surprised, but there was a build of Starfield in 2018, you know.
So guys, how does it feel that Bethesda is doing a ton of the things you said they should do in the game? I feel vindicated that I literally wrote a reference to Bethesda listening to me in my next Skyrim script.
Yeah, I wrote a post today. I don't know if they're listening to us, but I'm not sure they are listening.
Here's what they did. Here's what they did. I'll tell you what they did. They went to ChatGPT.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Like they add.
Microsoft Copilot. Actually, I'm sorry. They're only allowed to use Microsoft Copilot there. So they asked Copilot. They're like, "Hey, why don't people like our game?" And then Copilot meticulously explained everything that they need to do.
Well, you see, I have a legion of 1.2 million people who mindlessly regurgitate what I say, and so they were adding Emil directly with the issues, and he escalated those issues to management. So it wasn't me; it was my audience.
It was your gremlins.
Yeah, the legion of hate.
But
same thing kind of happening with Total War. I guess. I mean, I've played the new update. But yeah, Starfield.
Yeah. So, unironically, I did post it on Twitter, and I said, this is actually a good update. This is like really what they should be doing.
I wrote the Twitter essay, and I was like, on I think 6 of the 8 points, I was positive that it's a good direction. Now,
yeah,
I still think the game's a net negative.
Yeah. Because the
these are
problem
all
is,
good. These are all good things, and I tried to like limit myself from going. That should have been in the game at launch.
yeah.
As much as I
Because
could.
we can
But
all
that's
say
true.
that, but let's just
Give them the benefit of the doubt.
give them the benefit of the doubt and stuff. Let's let them dig themselves out. Let's
If you
not
want the-
dump more dirt onto them.
Hang on, someone did me a favor, and you could actually use this because it comes with the pictures I posted. If you wanted to give people visuals.
Oh, there's pictures of it and stuff.
Well, someone compiled my Twitter post.
Oh, okay. But yeah. So
That has all
there's
the pictures
more.
in it.
There was more in this update than I was expecting, especially given you know, what they have been releasing up until this point. So they were cooking. They were in the kitchen. They were cooking and stuff. I don't know why they haven't said anything. Why the radio silence all this time? Because it's like, oh, I know why. It's because Todd went out on I think it was IGN recently, and he said
I think it was Kind of Funny Games.
Was it? No.
those
This was a while ago, where he said
okay.
the issue with Starfield was that what was it that they announced it too soon, or they missed the release window, or that's what it was. I was like, no. The reason people
Shattered Space. I thought about this. Shattered Space should just be them releasing the November 2021 build with all the bugs and everything.
The Starfield 0.01 build.
But
yeah, that wasn't the problem, Todd. The problem was the gaslighting and the marketing that was all over the place, and there was just, and then afterwards the radio silence.
I would say, like, yeah, the gaslighting and the radio silence is the worst thing. Their community interaction is just embarrassing. They flounder, and they don't know what they're doing. I mean, they know what they're doing insofar as they probably did make more sales than they would have if they hadn't gaslit, because that seems to be all this game had going for it.
Well, it's kind of just like, it's an industry standard at this point.
No, I can't stand gaslighting in marketing. I can't stand when the government pretends that everything's okay and that like this is some unprecedented period of economic growth. and then like you go to buy food and it's like 5 times as expensive, like vastly outpaced inflation.
Well,
but what do I know?
That's greedflation. Okay?
I'm the crazy one.
That's greedflation. They raised the prices. They artificially raised the prices to make up for all the wages they had to, all the bonuses they had to give during COVID.
And the quote unquote increased wages.
As somebody who worked during that time, the extra $200 that I got over the course of the 6 months of the worst part of the pandemic really saw me through.
Man, what was my pandemic bonus? It was less than $1,000. But that's why all your stuff costs 3 times as much now. But Starfield. Gaslighting. Starfield will be gaslighting.
Well, apparently not anymore. Now it's...
Well, I pointed out the monkey's paw with what they marketed here. I don't think it's even on this patch notes list.
The creations?
Yeah, so they went out of their way to highlight that they had given the dev kit out to verified creators before they announced that there was going to be modding tools. Like, they didn't even talk about modding tools in this update.
Oh, what's up, Piggy?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah, that was a really good point, because when I was watching the video that they put out, I assumed modding tools was basically next. It's like next on deck. That's going to be the next update. But
you would think.
But you might be onto something, that the next update might actually be creations first.
No, it's got to be. And there's two angles to this. One is what Elminster talked about, with the modding tools being far more complicated than they possibly anticipated due to file structures changes that they made.
Yeah.
And the other part is that I do think they want to see the modding scene with their own stuff first. Because I think that was what undermined Creation Club, was that there was a modding scene and that a lot of what was in Creation Club
I mean, there's already
existed.
See, the problem is that there's already a modding scene for Starfield, even without the tools. So, kinda.
I want to live in the timeline where they
I want to live in the timeline where they
tried
just
to prevent mods from happening at all for Starfield.
I would just. I think the correct approach for them is to release both at the same time. And then, on top of that, invite people into the creator program. Well, I think you can apply for it anyways, but
that's the correct approach. But remember, this is the monkey's paw part of the of the. Hey, we did like 6 things that are good, so we have to do some bad things. We have to make a point of mentioning our new monetization practices.
I haven't even played the new creations on Sky. I have to do that. Fuck, I have to do that soon now. I want to do it before Starfield. Like the ones for Starfield comes out.
Was that part of the video for like the investors? They're like, "Oh, and here's the new monetization practices."
No, I think they genuinely see creations as a value added for the customers.
So in that respect, they're not completely in touch. They're still out of touch in a few aspects.
Listen, we're dealing with Bethesda, who is now owned by Microsoft. Do you really think?
They're going to be out of touch by.
They probably don't even know how many players actually played their game. Let's be real.
They just don't have the metrics.
Yeah, like, Microsoft is just like,
we think it was 13 million.
Because remember, it's Microsoft.
It's got to be almost as much as Fallout 76 over its lifespan, or otherwise Starfield would look bad.
Yeah.
So we'll say 13 million. But
yeah, that is a good question. If they've had more players with Fallout 76 and Starfield, because Fallout 76, I guess we have to talk. Yeah, we have to talk about that too. Back. It's back. It's having record.
It's good.
Record players and stuff now.
They're doing a new update that is a map extension.
Yeah.
It's not just a new area that you have to go through a loading screen to visit. They're actually adding like a new biome. Which I'll probably check out.
Yeah.
Probably on a stream, but
I think that would be a worthwhile stream. Us just like hopping in there and seeing what's up with that.
Seeing who tries to invade our session. If they can, God, if that's even possible.
I don't think that's even possible.
Yeah. Fallout 76 is good now.
The question is, will you renew your Fallout First subscription?
Well, no. I was like, I could claim it on my taxes, but no. No, I don't think I will. We don't need the private lobby that bad. Or we'll just play whatever like shitty game mode they have that nobody is playing and go there and there. And people will be looking for us in like the regular lobbies. The year of Starfield hate seems to have possibly paid off. Well, were they radio silent? Like, I don't know. That brings up the KSP2 thing. For those who aren't aware, Kerbal Space Program 2, their developers have been just gutted. Yep. Now, there was a statement. They're not abandoning the game. They just don't have any developers to work on it.
Have we tried Manor Lords yet? Actually, I have. It seems pretty solid. I only played it for a few hours though. I haven't had the time really, but yeah, it's a lot of really cool stuff in there.
Yeah, Starfield will be good. Let's go through the features, shall we? Are you going to use my Twitter post, or are you gonna use these patch notes?
Send it to me on Discord so I can see.
I did send it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one screenshot, so you just got to move it up in OBS.
All right, let me. You know what? I don't want to fuck with that because I have sensitive information, and
I mean, you just whatever.
let's listen. Last time I tried fucking with things, I almost doxed my main Steam account.
Can I send you the screenshots? Because this was just a lazy route of giving people visuals.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I think I know I can do this.
All you got to do is put the picture on screen.
Yeah. Hold on, let me switch to... It's been a while.
I don't even know. Like, okay, for some reason I thought I had to download them, and then I remembered, wait a second, I screenshotted them. I have the original pictures on my drive. KSP2, Blood Bowl 3, and Payday 3, the unholy trinity of bad sequels. The unholy trinity of unnecessary sequels. But what else is news? Right. What else do people want to know?
Let's see how this looks. A little bit off. Let me fix.
Just listen, chat. We're professional streamers, okay?
Yeah, it's only been 8 months.
We make blunders. We haven't. Have you seen the Fallout show? Because I haven't.
No.
Yeah, I'm not particularly interested in seeing the Fallout show.
Do a video on Morrowind, you coward. I was working on one, and then
yeah, I can attest that he was working on one.
It's in the pipeline.
It's in development hell.
Yeah.
No,
AKA you fucking foisted World of Warcraft on me. Fucking.
You pushed me into doing it.
Did I?
Yeah, back in December. This was during your mental breakdown. You were like, like trying to jump into another project just because you wanted
let me take some advice from some dude who's like. Listen, who's the crazy one? The crazy one or the one who listens to the crazy one?
Well, okay, you said you were going to do it, so I got a subscription, and you canceled on me, and it was like, well, I paid for 6 months, so I guess I got to start doing this now. Plays WoW, goes insane instantly.
No, it was Starfield. No, what World of Warcraft has done to me is made me gain weight. Literally, for the first time in my life, I had to buy new belts because my belts no longer fit me. I've never had that issue before.
Mm.
All right, so
we'll talk about WoW later.
Yeah, so
we've got things to say. This was part 0.1. My video is my Twitter post was in the order of items that they announced. So the first thing they announced was city maps. I guess they took that to be like the biggest criticism of the game, that there weren't maps. So this was the map system they came up with. As a still image, it doesn't look that interesting, but it is actually a 3D model that you can like pan around.
Yeah, in motion, I was very impressed actually.
No, it's actually got a sense of style to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't match any of the other styles that are in the game, but hey, it looks better than it looks bad. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, the game already lacks visual cohesion, so what's a little bit more, right?
Well, and this kind of highlights something I wish I had said, which is that the reason that they didn't have maps was that they didn't want to highlight how tiny the cities were.
Yeah.
I mean, this is decently sized. Remember, this is the biggest city in the game. The one they showed for Aquila was holy shit. I can send you the image for that too, because
yeah,
someone sent it to me, and they were bringing this point up exactly, which ties into our city skyline stream that we're going to be doing later. The how Aquila is more parking lot than city.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's bad.
If that wasn't an official like image,
from their trailer, you'd have a hard time believing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought about it because I walked around this perimeter wall looking for places to like take B-roll footage of Aquila, and I was like, this area seems the spaceport seems kind of big.
Yeah, I'm glad we both had like the same idea of just like running along the walls there.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I made the joke. They're so inspired by Texas with Aquila that they copied their parking lot minimums too. Like, there's got to be 1.5 spaceships for every 800 square feet or something.
Man, that's wild.
Listen, you got to have the parking space minimums for the peak. Actually, that came up during the eclipse where I lived. They thought that the population of the town was going to triple during the eclipse, and like, oh, that's why we need parking minimums, because there's going to be all these people, and then it didn't happen. So,
yeah.
but yeah, this is the first thing they're working on. 3D interactive maps. They're for the exploration zones as well. It's kind of funny because when they show those zones, there's like big open empty spaces between the points of interest.
Yeah, but I mean, that would be.
This is answering a criticism.
That would, but the thing is, to give them credit though, that would be useful for settlement building, because you'd be able to get a nice view, and like you can scope out the landscape to see like where it's like best to.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Because there was a huge pain in the ass to find a flat spot on a map.
Yeah. It's like it's little tweaks like this here and there that I think could make Starfield's like mechanically all right. Mm-hmm. The problem is, and this is why I just don't think the game really can be saved, is that it still has to exist in Starfield's universe with its quests and its writing and its characters.
Did I say it already that the reason they didn't have maps on launch was because they didn't want to show how tiny the cities were? Yeah, I mean that this seems to be like affirming that is the case.
Oh, does anyone know when I should just address this real fast because I should have addressed this earlier. Does anyone know when the Skyrim Part 3 video is going to be out? Pretty soon, actually. This summer.
Yeah, do you want to tell them that the video got bumped?
Oh,
the CS2 video.
Yeah. So like, what happened was, I was working on the Skyrim video, and then I played City Skylines 2, and I was just like, all right, like, I could work on a video for this. So I started working on a CS2 video, and then it was going to be a lot about like the simulation aspect of the game, because that's like my favorite part of it. And then, Colossal Order came out and said they're going to be overhauling that entire thing. So I was like, all right, cool. So I can't do a video on that. CS2, City Skylines 2. Sorry. I know it's...
No, this video exists on this. I can prove that the script exists at the very least, because you sent me
the Skyrim one.
Stuff from the script.
Yeah. So
there is a script. There is footage.
What I'm probably going to end up doing, not probably, I'm almost certainly going to be doing it this way, is releasing it in phases for patrons early. So like as I edit the video, because I edit linearly, and it's going to be a very long video. So like as I'm working on it, I'll just like cut it, render out whatever I finished, ship it out to patrons and stuff, and then when it's all set and done, release the full thing on its completed glory to the public. So if you're interested in getting like an early access version to it or whatever, sign up on the Patreon or whatever. Otherwise,
or just wait for him to mysteriously start streaming again.
Yeah,
because half the time that means there's a video.
Yeah, I gotta
juice
things up.
City maps.
Yeah, and what else does there really say? It's a map.
Mm-hmm. Why didn't they have it at launch? Because they didn't want people to notice how small the areas were, I guess.
I think it was just a technical thing.
They always had maps. And if they could put one out in 8 months, then they probably had like a couple different versions they made over the years. I honestly think that it was we don't want the game to look bad for having a low amount of content. The next screen is interesting though.
Zoom this in a bit.
Can Starfield even be saved at this point? No, because they won't, like, unless they're gonna do like story content, like just insane story content, which I would actually love. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I want Shattered Space to be the greatest Bethesda game DLC ever made, just so that it's like tied to their worst game. I wanted them to parallel on Gorg on it. So this was the next thing they showed. This is more granular difficulty settings that affect XP gain.
Yeah, so this
is the most interesting and out of left field thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the idea. The problem is that unless this comes with a complete rebalancing of Starfield's, XP economy, this is only going to make that issue so much worse.
That's what I pointed out, was the average action you do in Starfield is less than 100 experience. So a 2% XP increase is not significant. Even if you were to like add it up, it would still, like, I feel like this has got to be less than 100%. So you can't even really double it. More pure number sliders. Well, see, I like the concept here because I actually do like games that do systems like this where they just Sneaker just covered one, E5 Brigade. Where it's a super granular tactics shooter, Jagged Alliance game. But all of the gun autismo stuff there's settings for all of that stuff that you can tweak. So if you want to play an action shooter instead of a hardcore tactics game, you can. And I'm fine with that. And I like the concept because I've advocated for things like this before in my Elder Scrolls videos. I said, hey, why not have like a detailed list of options that the people can kind of go through and tweak? If you're going to have people tweaking their difficulty anyways, why not just have it like more granular access?
Yeah, it's just less mods people will have to install, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because a big one's carry capacity. I think there's a reason they're showing off the greatly increased carry capacity in this, where it's like with this setting, it's like 1200 capacity now, which is quite cavernous. And it's like, yeah, they're probably showing that off because it's a thing where like there has been a concern that they're going to just get rid of encumbrance entirely because of people complaining about it. And I think this is the way forward
solution
to give everybody what they want.
Yeah,
because if you only benefit if you want the harder core style, you get a bonus for it, and if you don't, well, but
and it's there's a lot to this too, because we can see they're bringing.
They're letting you increase vendor money. Yeah, that was one of the things they showed off, was vendors having like 25,000 credits. Now, of course, I talked about that in my video, how if they give the vendors more credits, that is not really going to affect much. It'll make vendors less tedious to use, but the economy will still. That just means that the economy
is going to break faster.
Inflate faster.
Yeah.
They're going to need a lot more than just a vendor credit increase to fix it.
I don't even know how you fix Starfield's
economy. Just a total value overhaul.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Well, we're looking at it right now. We're staring at it in the face. Is that they're bringing the survival elements back? So that could be a money sink.
Well, the problem is food is like nothing.
Yeah.
You don't. This is one of the things about E5 where like you typically would spend more money than you made on operations, and that's what made it such a grueling game. Whereas in Starfield, like, you probably spend less than 5% of the money you make on consumable aid items, if that.
I just realized they don't have ship fuel in this.
No, because that's too complex for them to tack something onto.
But the system was there. The system already exists, remember? They just like turned it off.
There was probably more to them turning it off, but I don't think there's like just a couple binary flags you could flip and
I mean,
have ship fuel
I'm
be back.
but they had it working in the game at one point.
Well, if they can get it working, they could just easily add it to here.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the benefit of the system is once you have this set up, all you got to do is keep adding options to this that people want.
That would be cool, but I also know this is Bethesda, so like.
Well, okay. So interesting thing: enemy combat damage and player combat damage.
Yeah, yeah.
Enemy ship damage and player ship damage. I almost feel like that's too like okay, not let's be clear here. It's too much in the sense that I feel like players are going to mess with it and like kind of screw themselves up in terms of like skew their perspective on how the game should be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it would be better if they like if this was like a new game plus thing that you got access to this gameplay options tab?
Nah.
Do you kind of have to see how the game plays first?
Nah.
Like the only thing that should be in here is gameplay difficulty and like ship gameplay difficulty. And then you get the way more granular options after your first new game plus run.
Nah, I don't see the point in doing that.
Because I feel like you're gonna skew kind of your perspective on the entire game.
Well, I mean, like you could have like a prompt pop up that says like, you know, hey, the game is balanced around like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Modify this at your own discretion, that sort of thing. I'm just not a fan of like locking options.
Features.
Yeah, features and options and stuff like that. If I want to fucking ruin the game for myself, then that's my prerogative.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty positive on this. I think this is an actually cool idea.
Yeah.
If difficulty can be changed at any time, it may be fine. Oh, baby. This is Bethesda we're talking about. It's like on the one hand, I should hate this because I complained about the slider combat of Oblivion. But I feel like if you give players a lot more granular kind of customization, you actually avoid a lot of that slider combat.
Yeah.
I feel like they would reach equilibrium at
well,
some
the
point.
problem too with Oblivion's difficulty slider was that it made the enemies tankier while also making you weaker. So it's like it made one thing better in that, you know, the player being over like really powerful, but then it made something way worse in that the tanky enemies are now even tankier.
I feel like okay, it's weird. Player combat damage. So I'm thinking about like that breacher shotgun that did like one shot enemies, right? So that doesn't fix that shotgun. That just gives me extra experience for having it. So but then if I switch to another weapon, it's going to be like every enemy is like even spongier.
Yeah.
So that this could easily, I think, lead to some spiraling problems in terms of people's playthroughs, and that might scare Bethesda.
I think they just need to trust their audience at this point. You're dealing with an audience that will like literally tear the game apart. Have you tried modding in Skyrim recently?
No.
It's fucking involved now. And that's
it was always involved.
Dude, it's so much more now. It's almost just like not even worth it. So you're dealing with a community that like that's how they interact with these games. So I think they can handle some sliders and stuff. I really feel like a lot of modern Bethesda's issues have been them just underestimating their audience.
But you can see they have more emphasis on the survival stuff. They have more emphasis on the affliction stuff. I mean, these are things that we talked about. Like, no, these should not just be flavor that you guys have. These should be actual mechanics.
Yeah.
So hopefully this means that they are going to lean into this stuff as being mechanics.
I don't know. In what way?
Like that afflictions are something that happens more frequently and has a more deleterious effect on your gameplay.
Well, yeah,
so
that's
something you have to take care of and remove.
That's what it's looking like. So
Todd saying that still blows my mind. It was definitely one of like it was a good like out of touch designer moment where You really shouldn't admit that stuff in your game is just flavor, or you should elaborate on like why having it be just flavor is important. Like if it's going to be spice, why do you need the pepper?
That is one of those things that he admitted, and I'm just like, why?
No, these
Why
settings are
would
from
you?
the upcoming update for Starfield. They still have the color banding issues, but hey, you know, what can you do?
All right. So
the next
this
one
one
is
customizing the interior of your ships.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious how in depth this goes. If I'm able to like literally like knock out walls and put in new bulkheads and stuff, perfect.
Whoa.
Like that would be perfect.
What do you mean by putting in new bulkheads?
Like how you can do it in the settlement building system, where you can like, because you can enter a different mode
Oh, okay, yeah.
and then edit like the walls and stuff. So if it's like,
I don't think they have that.
Yeah, I don't know.
They showed off. They showed off that they added new hab types for the brands that are 100% barren.
Yeah,
but I don't think that like you can knock out walls between habs or put in like glass windows or glass walls or anything like that.
I don't know. I could see it being how it's set up with the settlement building system. Like it's rigid.
I don't know if I should take credit for this because I feel like it's such an obvious thing to put the outpost builder in the ship. Like a lot of this stuff is like so obvious that
yeah.
I don't even know if I should take credit for calling it. That's why my Twitter post wasn't a
my theory with this feature was that this was probably marked as like a stretch goal of theirs, and then they, you know, when they had to start cutting things out, they're like, all right, we'll mark this as like a high priority update if people request it. If nobody requests it, then fuck it, like let it be. And you know, people brought it up and stuff, and they're like, all right, well, we'll put it out. We'll make it one of the first things we really do.
No, I wouldn't worry about Starfield sucking us back in again, because my general attitude is that it's still Starfield at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's just got a lot more polish. My main point is that it's a good sign that they are doing this stuff. Like that video they released was like a tailored response to community criticism.
Yeah.
And not just like soft-handed, you know, day one Bethesda patcher or Bethesda reviewer type criticism, like genuine things that many people in the community brought up that Bethesda up until now would usually just ignore.
I've written off Starfield at this point, but this
I don't know how much I would engage with this system, because I feel like Starfield doesn't have enough mechanics compared to say Fallout 76 to make like customizing your interior spaces valuable.
Yeah, it's not really. I'm not a big fan of the art style or anything, but like I've written off Starfield at this point, but what this does give me hope for, or a little bit of hope for, is TES 6. Because maybe, just maybe, they went back to the design process and went, okay, people really didn't like some of this stuff in Starfield. Let's work on our plans here for TES 6 a bit.
Yeah, hopefully if they're responding to the criticism, why isn't Emil bagging groceries? I don't think anybody in the review space called for Emil to lose his job. That's not something that we did. I actually, like, after that drama happened, I sat down and went through all of my streams and all of my videos to see if there was an instance of me saying that Emil should be fired. And as far as the YouTube auto transcript showed, I could not find an instance of me ever saying that he should be fired. We've talked before about how he should just go work on Fallout 5. Give him his own little company and send him to his own island.
Yeah.
But
don't have hope for TES 6. People had hope for Bethesda that they learned after 76, and look how that turned out. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about like how much did Bethesda talk about it? Because I don't think Bethesda was really like, you know, Bethesda never sat down and had their designers talk about how they made specific mistakes with the game and how like they're adding features that people want. And it's not just that they're fixing things, it's what they chose to fix and how they chose to go about addressing it.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't feel like the same Bethesda that was gaslighting us last year.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're taking some notes about how you do the whole, redemption arc thing.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of this could also just be like the new advanced form of gaslighting. So,
At what point will we give up on Bethesda?
I mean, I'm pretty given up.
Yeah.
I mean, I am interested in this because I made an 8-hour video about this game.
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like if anybody's going to have a take on these kind of changes, it's going to be me. And you did 5 hours, so you should get a take.
Yeah, it seems like, because we're here giving them credit right now, so,
Yeah, like I said, like 6 of the things are good, but it's still Starfield at the end of the day.
Will you also be reading the Fallout 4 update? Isn't it like 13 notes?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it introduced more issues than it did.
Yeah.
Why the
And
fuck
people
would we
are
care?
down patching it now.
Yeah, like it was the most unnecessary update of all time, especially for PC. They should never. Why was there a next gen update for PC at all if there wasn't going to be new features?
No.
It should have just been fucking port the game to the new Xbox and call it a day.
Just don't go making long videos about Bethesda anymore. It's done enough to your mental health.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
you're a victim of gaslighting.
Unfortunately, I still have some Skyrim videos to do. But after that, it's Morrowind. And
but that's wholesome.
I like Morrowind.
Skyrim's wholesome.
Yeah, Skyrim's definitely. It's been refreshing to go back to it after Starfield.
So next feature.
Yes, the respec thing. Also, why are they holding a helmet?
It's the starter helmet. You didn't pick up on that? Like,
no, I did. It's just.
I think it's to show continuity between your old character and your new character. I wonder if it changes, like depending on what helmet you have.
I saw that and somebody brought it up in my Discord. And I'm like, that's just like that's a Dolly moment. Like,
well, okay.
The image editor just like put too many helmets into the picture.
Well, what I'm thinking is, what the hell is you know how we don't really know the name of the lone survivor or the dragonborn of Starfield? What's their iconic armor? Is it the Constellation armor or is it the Vectera mining armor? We don't even have like
armor, right?
We don't even have like a clear image. Well, if that's the case, why isn't this a Constellation helmet? Like that's what I'm getting from here is here's your first character and now you're wearing the armor of the Starborn as your second character. It's like visual continuity between the games, but again, we don't know what the we don't know what the last Dragonborn of Starfield is supposed to be.
I don't know, man.
But anyways, this feature, this is something that did you ask for this? I asked for this.
Yeah, I asked for it.
No, this is absolutely something that Starfield needed. It was confusing. Do you start a new game, like a new game, or do you play New Game Plus?
No, I think it's just. Or are you talking like in general, or are you talking like about this feature specifically?
Well, I was saying in Starfield, do you start a new game or do you start New Game Plus? This seems to solidify that doing New Game Plus is more valid than just starting a brand new game every time.
Yeah. Unless you like want to respec your your abilities or whatever. Yeah, Starfield's a game where it's like, why should I start a new character?
Yeah. And the only reason is that occasionally there will be a line of dialogue for a faction that you haven't done before.
Yeah. And here it's like, here you go. It's even less reason now to start another character.
Does this mean, okay, you know how you can get rid of the traits? Does this mean you can get those traits back?
Probably.
Yeah, I figured that's what it's got to be, because I'm sure, like, you know how you disowned your parents and were like, hey, I'm going to stop letting you leech off me? This is so you can get your parents back.
Yeah.
Okay, someone in chat wants to know, do you remember them from a Discord debate on Gothic versus Morrowind?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
You've been responded to.
But yeah, this is a good feature. Again, this is some like Bethesda of a year ago wouldn't have even acknowledged this in a video, right?
Nah.
They would have this attitude of like, we don't want to spoil the game for people. Like, it's so weird seeing Bethesda people talk about the Starborn stuff and like actually acknowledge that it exists. Like, didn't you find that weird?
That they're actually just, not only are they talking about it, that they're admitting that there's stuff that they could do with it and add to it and
Yeah.
improve it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is kind of weird.
It's so bizarre.
Because usually it's just like, all right, you know, Dragonborn DLC doesn't even really acknowledge the events of like the main story somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's a good thing. Next slide is a pretty short one.
Yeah, this one.
One of those.
This one I
like.
liked.
In at launch.
This one I really liked.
This is the that bug. We're just gonna make it gameplay, which is they got rid of the dialogue camera. Well, they didn't get rid of it. They gave an option.
Not only the bug, but also now, like, look how much better this NPC looks now that you're not zoomed into his face and you can see like how weird he looks.
Yeah, and you can see that he's part of a broader scene and all that. Oh, I thought this guy had a ponytail. That's part of his outfit. I was like, is this ponytail sticking through his collar? But no, that's part of the outfit.
Yeah, this looks much better. I mean, the game's still like, what is that fucking filter? Like, Bethesda, please, I know stop with the filters.
It's they clearly haven't fixed the awful color grading of Starfield, so it'll still be on us to fix. But
you have that feature for your RTX card, right?
Okay, so the next one, I gotta ask, were you ever confused about whether you were buying or selling?
I think I accidentally bought like once rather than selling, but
that sounds like something I did once too, but like it's such a minor thing. I don't like this one is a weird. This one was one of my that's a weird one. Where it's like, I guess it solves the problem, but I'm not sure who had that problem in the first place.
Yeah, so like they start that section off by saying, we've made changes to like the inventory screen. I'm like, oh my god, did they actually put like categories for the aid section? Because that thing's so, I don't think they did
Especially if they're ramping up the importance of it with their survival mode. But yeah, no, it's just, I can't even see it on the stream. You got to zoom out. But it's just like, it's just that they have highlighting now on which tab you're in.
Yeah.
So this was definitely one of the weird ones. It's probably why it's the last, like, hey, this is one of the features of the patch they added. But they're showcasing. There's the expanded inventory. There's the vendor having more credits. There's the player having way too much resources.
I see that.
Not this patch, but this is something they talked about that they're working on.
What is the default for the Frontier? I think it's like 400 or something, 500. So.
Oh, that's true. This is from the Frontier.
Yeah.
But still.
But yeah, this is the juicy bit.
Mm-hmm.
We like trying to really get in there.
Well, and they're just alluding that they're working on it, not that it's going to be part of this patch here.
Yeah.
But
I mean, see, it already has a model. They're obviously like driving it around and everything, so it's not.
So all those people that said that, oh, it's impossible because of the Bethesda jank engine, like clearly they found somebody who could do it. It turns out years of modding endeavors were not indicative of their abilities. But you know, people asked for it. I think this will cause problems. I described it on Twitter as the dragon riding of Starfield.
That's literally what I was talking about too. Well, no. So the question in my Discord was whether this is going to come out before Shattered Space or if it's going to come out with Shattered Space. And I'm saying it's going to come out before. And what Shattered Space is going to do is it's going to add rideable mechs. and that's gonna be your dragon,
Yeah,
your dragon riding system.
I feel like rideable mechs are going to be a more viable mechanical thing. Because here's the problem.
No, I mean my whole point though is that it's probably just gonna be like phoned in, kinda.
Oh, right, that level of phoned in.
Yeah,
My thing was dragon riding in terms of like actually being useful as a mode of travel.
yeah.
So like, what's the point of driving a car around the surface of a Starfield planet? Like legitimately, what's the point?
To get to the temple faster. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I get that I get that this is something that a lot of people, I think even ourselves, asked about, but I still like want to emphasize the point of like, why would this be valuable? To find out how small the instance really is. Yeah, so you can drive to the edge of the map in like 2 minutes.
Settlement building? Question mark?
Collecting
Collecting
can you even have
resources?
2 settlements on the same planet? Like in the same sliver?
No. No. I'm thinking like in terms of like just going out and doing like mass resource farming.
Maybe, well, that's what you do in No Man's Sky with vehicles.
Yeah.
You take the big truck out and it has a laser. You shoot the laser at rocks and collect rocks on that planet and store it in the big truck and take it back to your base.
Yeah, I need to know more about the functionality. Like, what is this vehicle just? It just
I think that's
drives?
the point of them showcasing that they're working on it, but not that it's coming now, because they're probably wondering the same question of like, I mean, there's a reason they didn't have it in the game in the first place. Why Todd showed consternation at the idea, because like, yeah, where the fuck do vehicles fit into Starfield as is?
Yeah.
So they have to not only add vehicles, but add an entire reason for vehicles to exist.
I mean, could have just made the boost pack more powerful.
Yeah. Or, yeah, basically that. Or like customize where you can give players options on where they want to land in an area.
Are they gonna increase like POIs and like the variety of content with POIs and stuff?
No, that's what they would have to. The only way vehicles are gonna sell as content is if they add like 200 more dungeons.
Yeah.
Because they already don't have enough. So they need to add more dungeons. They need to add like, what they need to add is dungeon types that are only spawned on edges of maps. So there's a reason for you to go out to the edge of the map and not just locate landing zone hop. And then those dungeons will have like valuable things in them, in quotes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean. So like, the closer you are to the landing zone, the easier and less profitable it is.
Imagine if like some of the
or the further away you could take it the next step too and be like, the further away from your landing zone you get, the more dense the resources get as well, for like, you're out there harvesting crap. I mean, does it make any sense in universe? Not really.
But that's what a video game would have to do if they wanted to make actually traveling in vehicles even necessary.
Yeah. Has there even been a proper count of the number of dungeons there are in the game?
Yeah, because there's a preset list of POIs.
Yeah.
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I've seen the list of because there's not very much stuff in the content manager that can spawn. It basically depends on if you're counting quest dungeons or not. That's the reason I didn't have the count in my video.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't count quest dungeons, then I think the count's like 30, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's pretty much. But yeah, so.
The last one's just a picture of the guy telling us about the creations, which we already talked about. We gave the kit out to verified creators so that they can get cracking on making paid mods.
I like the visor.
Yeah,
they're repping.
Well, he's been wearing that visor since Oblivion.
That's his look.
Oblivion QA guy.
That's his look, is the visor.
Mm-hmm.
A little continuity for people who are,
the old fans.
Yeah.
And now the guy that did QA testing for Oblivion and Bethesda is telling us that there's going to be paid mods. You couldn't make a more beautiful kind of image. This guy decided to quit QA testing so that you could do the content for them. But yeah, his name's Tim Lamb. He showed up in a ton of the marketing before now, so that's why we know who he is.
All right, we'll just skim through the patch notes real fast, see if there's any like juicy tidbits.
Oh yeah, and very performance mode on Xbox. That was the other that was the last thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give them credit. I'm really, really glad I removed like the whole thing that I was writing about the poor performance that I was having with the game, because the game runs pretty all right now with like DLSS and stuff. So,
well, Indigo had a "I told you so" moment, in that he was like, "Yeah, I told you guys that a performance mode on Xbox would be possible. I fucking told you all," which I thought was funny.
Oh yeah, you can also change your appearance when entering the Unity, not just traits.
Yeah, which I mean, like, you can change your appearance anyways. So.
Oh yeah. You had the little shop thing.
Yeah, you could have become the Vault Overseer. Could have become John Halo. That could have been your character arc.
All right, so general stability and performance improvements for character fleeing, avoidance, and pathfinding. Fixed various issues with object placement. Scanning flora and fauna XP is now awarded via harvesting and killing.
I feel like these patch notes are going to be pretty boring. We should regale people with the urban planning and infrastructure.
Yeah, let's actually play the game now.
So, thoughts? Starfield? Is Starfield good?
Starfield's definitely not good still.
No. Even if they did all of this, Starfield would still not be good.
Yeah.
Like 7 out of 10 would still be too high.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem, is that we've been talking about it while we were playing WoW, that like they're polishing a turd, you know? They should just move on to Elder Scrolls 6, like throw in the towel on Starfield, but they're obligated to make a Starfield DLC.
I just don't think they want to leave the game in the state that it's in. And you know what? Props to them.
Yeah.
As long as there's like a good core team, as long as most of the development is on TES 6 now, which I'm almost positive it is.
We're going to get a Far Harbor.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
We're not even going to get a Nuka World.
Yeah.
Like, I think they'll bail on Starfield as soon as they can.
I think so too.
Like, it's been wafting around the office for too long.
I think the idea is, and by like Christmas time, like everybody comes back from the holidays, full steam ahead, everybody on TES 6.
Besides the Fallout 5 team led by Emil.
Yeah. Well,
who will be making no contributions to TES 6.
Apparently. Apparently there's like some sort of spin-off thing. They have like other things going on with Fallout as well. But I read that as it's just gonna be another mobile game.
Was all rumor mongering. Todd was on that Kind of Funny podcast, and he was talking about like, yeah, you know, he was saying the usual platitudes he's been saying for 3 years, which is, yeah, we know we release games pretty slowly, and we don't like it either, but you know, we're still looking for a solution to the problem. It's like, bro, Fallout New Vegas came out in like 2010. Like, that was the solution. You give the IP to other companies and let them make their own version of it.
Is the update worth a return play session or two? I promised if somebody donated $50 that I would return to it and play it, and they did.
And
so
immediately, I told him it was a bad idea.
Now I am obligated.
I tried to prevent the Starfield stream from happening.
All right. Well, today we got a game that I actually do enjoy, which is City Skylines 2. All right.
Should have Starfield stank at Bethesda. I mean, legitimately though, Starfield was a mistake. Because from the ground down, I don't think anybody seemed to want to make it.
Yeah.
You should have made it a $500 dono goal, rookie mistakes, man. Yeah, I said that like people would go out of their way to crowdfund just to make it happen, just to troll him. Didn't City Skylines 2 have a rough launch?
Yeah.
He messaged me and was like, "Yeah, I refunded this."
Yeah. Honestly, if I was to blame any game for my mental issues last year, it's actually City Skylines 2 because like I was banking on this game being good and being like my zen game to like chill out as I'm, crunching on the videos.
Oh,
And
you were
then
banking on Never Knows Best having made a good Skyrim video. The rookie mistake.
and yeah, nobody I really don't think anybody predicted what was going to happen with City Skylines 2. But
Well, especially the way they marketed it.
yeah, they were really confident with it. And I said as much. I was saying as much when I was watching it on like with Twitter and stuff.
So do you think it was like advanced gaslighting, or do you think they just weren't testing it on enough like rig types?
No, they knew. They
They
literally came
knew?
out and said, yeah. They came out and said that that's why modding tools weren't in the game at launch because they had to move everybody onto bug fixing and optimization and stuff like that. They knew they were pushing out like a fucking buggy product.
I hope Starfield does a
So
kit too. Todd coming out and saying it's the players that just didn't get it makes me hard to think he's not the right guy, regardless of him being a likable guy. Where did he say that? I don't want to watch that kind of funny interview.
he trusted Paradox. Big mistake. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was trusting Colossal Order more than Paradox, but Paradox had a very rough year last year. So the theory is that they basically forced Colossal Order to pull the trigger sooner than they were ready.
Many such cases.
Yeah, because they're like, listen, we have
For
just
example,
had game after game basically bomb, and we need some cash.
Blizzard,
So, yeah. I feel like we
Season of
can. I
Discovery,
feel like we can say that about.
Cataclysm.
That's gonna be another stream. EU5 is going to suck so bad. Did they announce EU5? I don't even.
I mean,
I haven't even been
I've
following ever since. What was it? Vicky 3, and like just the disappointment that was. I was
yeah,
just
Vic
like,
3 was supposed to be the big comeback for the grand strategy genre.
yeah, that was. I don't know. I played it for a little bit and I just couldn't get into it, and I just
We're gonna
refunded
get
it.
the city rolling.
Yeah. So
I'm looking at a
yeah.
map selection.
Yeah, so I just went ahead and I made a custom map. I'm running a few mods, nothing crazy though. Mostly just like graphical stuff because there's a lot of like graphical bugs still in the game. Yes, that's a fine name.
The
So
Kind of Funny cast had a couple tasty bits, but it's not worth the watch. It's kind of funny, of course it's not worth the watch. It was barely worth watching the first one, and I got good stuff out of it.
Vicky
I
3
wonder
is
why he
fine. Have they
I wonder why
has there been like any expansions and stuff for Vicky 3, or have they like, is it another what was that game? Imperator. They Imperator it.
it sounds like they released just too many games.
All right. I need to get my bearings straight. All right. All
Oh
right.
Jesus, where are we? Fucking Ohio?
Yeah, I wanted to make a map. So like this map is kind of in response to a bunch of other custom maps that I was playing, where they were like very flat, except when you went to go build stuff, then like the building area would be like completely messed up. So this is the complete inverse. Really like dramatic landscape, but then the building area is very nice and flat. Lots of flatness, so I can do what I want. But like this game has some really interesting scale. So like looking at this, it's like this doesn't look that big, and then you realize like these, like that's the trees there, and it's just like okay, that's actually like this span here would be like, I think this is gonna be like a 2 mile long bridge that I would build across here. So there's some interesting stuff with this game's maps and everything. I don't have it on this because I couldn't be asked to, but you can actually add like a world map to this, and it basically like quadruples the size of the map. You can't build beyond this, but it adds like a background basically, so you can make some like cool looking terrain and stuff. So like the maps and stuff look pretty big.
Todd actually said kind of funny is the only way he consumes gaming related content. I don't buy it. I think everybody
That
says that when they go on a show.
yeah, yeah, it sounds like
He's got to post his YouTube watch history.
how Todd probably gets his news is somebody like an intern or something at Bethesda just gives him a digest.
Friendship ended with IGN.
Yeah.
New best friend, kind of funny games.
All right.
Like if I ever get to talk about car-free living on Joe Rogan, I'm going to say that Joe Rogan's the only podcast I listen to.
Do you even listen to Joe Rogan?
I listen to him like when he has really wacky guests.
The
Like,
only
the wackier, the
one,
better.
the only one that I watched was with the Black Keys. That was because my brother told me to watch it because I'm a Black Keys fan, and it was a really good interview.
No, I actually think he's decent at interviewing. People just don't believe it.
So what I gotta do now?
Where's the parking lots?
This is the thing that I have to unlock the parking lots, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, most assets they grow with parking lots, but yes, this is what I was talking about with the scale. I have to get this down here.
Wasn't Tetramore on the Joe Rogan Experience? Yeah, Tetramore went on Joe Rogan to explain Kingdom Hearts lore in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
So, World of Warcraft.
Oh God. Do we have to?
We got to tell the story of how this happened.
Oh God.
All right. This started with me. Okay, this is my bad. Let's see, what was I working on? I was working on the Skyrim video. This is 2022. I'm working on the Skyrim video. I'm thinking about what I want to do after. Starfield being a big thing wasn't even on my mind, right? It was going to be a 30-minute video where I talk about Starfield. And so I was like, what do I make the next big video about? And I was listening to like WoW music, and I was like, yeah, I could do World of Warcraft. You know, I had thought about that project on and off for a while. So I started like kind of sketching up ideas, and I think I pitched to you at some point around
That's
then.
not right.
Same as like the Fallout 76 video.
Yeah.
So I was like coming up with ways like how to do it, where to do it, etc. And I leveled 1 to 60 in Era, all right. The troubles began when we played, though.
Yeah. So I've come to the conclusion that I'm cursed when it comes to multiplayer games.
It just keeps happening.
It's kind of uncanny at this point.
Companies should pay you to not play their game.
Or to play the games of their competition.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they just holy crap.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that Never Knows Best video on Gamergate 2?
I watched a little bit of it. Do I need to watch it?
No, someone asked if we had seen it.
Oh.
I mean, the issue is that if he did go after Mark Kern is a little cringe. Okay, I think it's fair to say that he's making some money off of this, and that's informing his behavior. But as I understand, the video wasn't as egregious as the one he did on me. I think he learned a little bit about how to do that type of video. He's still doing the I didn't want to make this video thing, but other than that, he got less views on it, despite it being a bigger topic. So I think that
I just think people look at that and they're just like, yeah, I don't
I don't want to hear about this, and I definitely don't want to hear about this from you.
Can you please just go back to making videos on like games?
On games,
please.
Well, that's how you end up with the Dark Souls video. I watched a little bit of it. Never Knows Best seems like he was taking his meds again. That's what I want to know is like, is this the result of like a self-destructive phase?
What is this doing?
But yeah, World of Warcraft. So I played Era in after the Starfield video. So I started in December, and there was a decent player base. And then we went to play it in March, like late March, early April, and Era was dead. Nobody was on Era. There was no groups or anything. Nobody was doing dungeons. Era was dead.
Yeah. See, because I always assumed that, you know, Era would last forever. So that's kind of why I wasn't in much of a hurry. Also, because I had, like, you know, other shit going on. But I was like, yeah, you know, it should be fine, right? Like, there should.
So yeah, we got to like level 20. We were doing a tank healer combo, which is like, if we're doing tank healer and we're looking for members to do dungeons, that should be like an instant win.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that we had the setup. So, like,
yeah.
It's just like, all right, we just need 3 DPS. Like, you tell me we can't get 3 DPS? And it's, yeah, it turns out we couldn't.
Yeah, everything between Dead Mines and Scarlet Monastery was dead. And then after Scarlet Monastery, it was dead until like Blackrock Depths. So like that's probably like 75% of the leveling dungeons that there just the LFG bulletin would be dead for hours.
Yeah. And
part of that was that people were finishing their Wrath of the Lich King progression, and people were playing SOD. So we had to sit down and have a discussion on, all right, if we can't do classic, what are all our alternatives? Option 1 was quit, right? The other options were like, we could do it on Wrath, because Wrath had players.
God.
We could do it on, which that would have been a mistake.
Yeah. You should probably explain why that would be a mistake and how we.
Yeah, so someone decided to make the executive decision that there wouldn't be Wrath era servers to play TBC and Wrath on. They were just apparently just going to keep like the timeline moving forward on Classic. So they released the Cataclysm pre-patch today and wiped out all the Wrath of the Lich King era servers.
That's insane.
Yeah, it sounds fucking stupid.
Man,
like, I know Wrath of the Lich King was part of retail,
but isn't it still just pre-patch?
It's pre-patch, but it's Kata now.
Oh,
so
God.
They've started the Kata balance. They've changed the talent system.
So it's like,
so I'm in a tough place when it comes to getting to, like, I think the mechanics section of the video, it just ends with classic, because I have two options: risk it with the lawyers and play a private server of Wrath, or play public and like just the classes don't play at all like they did.
Yeah.
And TBC was always fucked.
It probably isn't even like worth it either to even bother with like a private server thing.
I mean, private servers would give us a lot more utility in terms of what we could do. But yes, Cataclysm Classic was made a thing. Guys, we're at the point where people are like, no, Mist Classic should be a thing.
Stop.
Yeah, like they're delusional to the point, like within 2 years they're going to start talking about how Warlords Classic needs to be a thing. Like, it's insane.
Guys, we need to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, I am
Shadowlands Classic. I mean, that's the termination point, isn't it? It feels like Crazy Pills. I'm just saying. Speaking of Crazy Pills, what even is this road?
It's to get down the mountain. See, it looks weird because the game renders this shit weird. Like it's building these walls here, and it's not at all consistent. And yeah, like kind of.
If you want this to be authentic, the road needs to be made out of concrete too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like we couldn't even get this done. So we had to make the choice. We go to Wrath, which would have terminated with Kata,
Like this
or
part looks cool.
we play Season of Discovery, which is
wavy.
seasonal classic content, and that's what we went with because the main argument against SOD was that it's not really authentic gameplay, but at the very least, we would get to finish out the dungeons.
Yeah.
Nice. Terror in the world. So we started playing SOD in Phase 2. And then Phase 3 happened.
Well, hold on. Let's. There was good times to be had at first, okay?
No, like so you're a shaman tank.
Yeah.
I'm a mage healer. Which mage healer, if you don't know in SOD, is the arcane spec. And it works off of you put a status effect on somebody and then your damage is healing. So you damage the mob, they take damage, and then that damage is converted to healing to everybody that has the status effect. Decently fun. And we, we're Horde because he's a shaman, so we got to do Ragefire Chasm.
This is the
Which
first.
I wasn't even aware I was going to get to do.
First time I was ever really playing Horde seriously, so it had that going on too. Because I have experience playing World of Warcraft, but it's like 15 years ago now. It was before I even graduated high school, so yeah, a while ago.
Yeah, we were gonna do Paladin Warrior, for various writing reasons. Basically to make a future TBC and Wrath video possible when I switched to Death Knight.
Yeah.
And then that didn't, because we didn't get to play on Era, we didn't get to continue our. Basically, I had a need to do the Horde content anyways. Because we were playing Alliance because I had my 60 was an Alliance, so we had money from that. We had seed money that we could work with. But if we weren't going to get to do that because we had to play SOD, then we might as well do Horde, where I could at least like get some more Horde footage.
Oh, man, we're not even gonna have access to that when we. Oh wait. I'm jumping ahead here. I'm just assuming I'm gonna have to do TBC and stuff. See, okay, so
yeah.
I'm working on a video of my own with this. It's not going to be like a crazy analysis video. It's not like taking up a lot of time from Skyrim or anything. Actually, Skyrim comes first and then this comes afterwards. But I mean, I don't like World of Warcraft, all right? I'm just going to come right out and say it. I was having a rough time, really rough time.
A rough time later on in Phase 3. In Phase 2, which we were talking about.
Yeah. Phase 2.
We were having fun.
Phase 2 was, it was pretty good. Oh, this isn't gonna.
Yeah, Phase 2 was us doing. We did Ragefire Chasm. We did Wailing Caverns.
That's when I was actually.
Here's
the secret sauce to why Phase 2 was good. We were able to raid or you do dungeons. Actually, we were able to do. Did we do any raids in Phase 2?
Yeah, we did Black Fathom Deeps a couple times.
Yeah, which was chaotic, but
it was chaotic, but we were having fun because people were actually doing the content and.
Yeah, people were doing the content.
Dungeon fruits, and we were progressing. We were getting our abilities, and it was actually like really good. Like we kind of started bad, and we were learning how to play our classes, and it was rough with our abilities. And then like, I got Arcane Blast, and that completely changed. That completely changed my ability to heal, and I suddenly had like way more fun with it because. Oh,
am I lagging?
I think I'm cutting out here.
I'm getting
I think something's up.
I'm getting a warning. Error. Receiving enough data to maintain a smooth streaming experience. I am dropping frames like nobody's business right now.
Chat, are we alive? Here, let me. I'm gonna restart this call. Switch a different region.
I am going to be right back. I have a suspicion what's going on. Yeah, my shit's like completely dead right now. Let me try.
I can hear you fine, so it's coming through Discord fine.
Yeah. My OB, like I'm just dropping like tons of frames though. I can try to. It does leave, come back, and it's try and stream after all this time. Let me try dropping like the bit rate. I'm gonna like halve it. Let's see. I mean, it's saying my fucking uplink's like 2,000 kilobytes right now, dropping to like 0.
Yeah, I'm not sure why these things happen.
This is what happens when you stream during peak hours, I guess. Wait. Oh. I think it's back. I think we might be good now. It's like 3 minutes behind.
Yeah, it's behind, but it's like seems to be coming in smooth now.
That's weird. I think that was a YouTube issue. I don't think that was even my internet.
Yeah, I think YouTube shit themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems more up to date now. I probably skipped a couple minutes.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're back. Chat, one's in the chat if we're current. We'll see how quickly they respond.
Yeah.
I'm surprised streamers put up with this stuff. I mean, what's the alternative? we go to Kick or Rumble or something.
Can we get some ones in the chat? Okay, there's a one. All right, so it's and it died.
But do we believe them?
Did it die again? No, I'm seeing flickering on my my dashboard.
I don't know. I'm watching the stream and it's fine.
All right, I'm just gonna roll with it for now.
Refresh.
Yeah, that's probably it. Got an ad as well? Well, that wasn't from me. Anyways, what were we talking about?
I'm listening to it and it's fine.
Okay.
If you're having issues, you need to refresh.
Yeah. I'm almost positive that was a YouTube issue.
Yeah.
Cool. They made me drop my bitrate for nothing. Now my stream's gonna look half as yeah. Well.
Yeah, it's City Skylines.
No, I've been there before as a viewer. Like a lot of streamers bitch about that. They're like, "Oh, I can't have interruptions or anything, otherwise all my viewers." And I'm like, as somebody who watches a lot of live streams, I'm always happy when like there is like a natural break where I'm just like, "Okay, cool." Now when I come back to watch the VOD later, I know like what was happening and stuff.
Is it even worth telling the story though? All right. So I was told by the chat that where we left off was the start of phase 2.
Okay.
So I think it was around SFK that I decided I wasn't going to switch to my level 25 priest. I was going to keep doing the mage healing. Yeah, it was the Microsoft lawyers. And I think it was around, when did you start enjoying the tanking?
I mean, I was enjoying it with the first character.
Yeah, because you had learned how to do it on the warrior.
Yeah.
You had gotten to apprentice under another warrior tank.
Yeah, yeah. That dude actually was like, he was a good tank too. Like I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, so
But yeah, I found out that I'm just a natural tank. You said something
hmm
the other night, which I actually took as a compliment because we were talking about like our UI setups and stuff. And I told you that I still can't see like actual numerical values for like health.
yeah,
I just see bars. You're like, God, that's such a tank thing to say.
yeah. No, it's true because tanks are always on. Tanks don't care about health; they just keep the fight going.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always like the healers and the people obsessed with how much DPS they do that like
All I care
actually know how
about
much
is,
health
am I
enemies have.
holding aggro and are the healers getting attacked right now? I don't give a fuck if like, the rogue gets knocked down or something like that. It's
hmm
like, you shouldn't have been using your high threat abilities there, buddy. Remember,
So
remember that
yeah,
dude we were doing I forgot what we were doing. But he was a rogue and he kept running ahead and getting himself killed.
was it in Zul'Farrak?
No, no, no. That was the cool rogue. No, no, no. This dude.
Yeah.
Remember he like I think it was one of the raids actually that we were running.
Oh, was it Black Fathom?
I think so.
I
And he
think I
kept
remember
he
this
kept running
guy.
ahead. I had to res him like 3 times because he just kept getting
Yeah.
himself killed. That was funny.
Yeah. Well, and that's the cool part is that you get to have tons of like social stories and all that.
Yeah.
Um, and people getting themselves in trouble, which no, it was fun. Phase 2 was a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah, that was still phase 2.
that was up until Scarlet Monastery.
Mm-hmm.
We were in like the mid 30s when phase 3 dropped. Okay. Now, I want to set the scene here for the phase 3 drop. Scarlet Monastery. Okay. Iconic kind of mid-game dungeon for classic. That's where the boys become men. In my opinion, it actually kind of sucks.
Oh, I still.
Yeah, you thought it was fine, but I kind of just found a lot of Scarlet Monastery tedious.
Mm-hmm. I
Replaying
really,
it.
oh man, as much as like I kept getting us killed because I didn't know how to tank it.
Yeah.
Uh, Cathedral was a lot of fun to tank.
Well, Cathedral was fine. We didn't run Cathedral enough. That was part of the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Was we got to level 40 and phase 3 drops. Night 1. Scarlet Monastery lobby is packed. Okay, there were hundreds of people in there. Right. Finding groups was not a problem.
I like how this is still an issue.
With the uneven.
Where like if like you just, you know, zone an entire section, it'll start doing like the biggest ones, but like watch, like I can force it to just spawn a bunch of tiny ones. See? It's just like all about how you like lay these things out. And it's just like, why isn't there a setting where I can just be like, yeah, I just want it to spawn 4x4s. So I can just drag it out and spawn my 4x4s. Because in this game, it's not even like in City Skylines 1, where like this doesn't really matter all that much. This actually, like, size of properties now indicate it affects the rent. Like you can see here, rent on this property is going to be 83 a month. Rent on this property is 222 a month. That's a big deal for like different households and stuff. Because like I'll see people who are having issues with rent in their cities and stuff, and like it's like, well, why is there an issue? And it's like because you don't have like enough small properties that like small families are going to move into. You need your starter homes, man. Like that's what you need. Like these plots aren't going to be starter homes here. These will. So interesting little things like that. But anyway.
Yeah, do you think it's intentional? Like, they're trying to make you think about lot sizes?
I think it's intentional that it, like, yeah, it's supposed to, like, this is working correctly. I don't think it's intentional that it just, like, spams the biggest ones. It just does whatever the fuck it wants.
You think that there should be, like, a demand system that kind of splits it up?
That would be nice. That would be nice because because you like the demand bar, like it's still like low density demand, low density residential demand. That's all this here. But not only is there demand for large properties, like I said, there's also demand for small properties. But you won't see a numerical value for that. So you kind of just have to like feel it out and like be like,
Right.
and you also have to know like your developments and stuff being like, yeah, I haven't really put down any like small houses anywhere lately. I haven't put down houses that are gonna be low rent or something, or that like there's a lot of different things you have to consider. And yeah, the game just lacks like a lot of tools. I think that's one
Well,
of the
and
biggest problems with this game is that it lacks tools to be able to give players enough feedback to know like what am I doing wrong here? What do I need to do to address these issues?
that it has any kind of simulation like this,
Is fascinating, yeah.
yeah,
And
sounded really cool to me.
and that's why I really wanted to do a video on the economy stuff, because it's like you kind of have to know like your economics and stuff. Like you got to understand like the basics of supply and demand, and that people have like different preferences and stuff. Every time that I started running into problems, well, almost every time, when it wasn't a bug, was I was genuinely underestimating the simulation, like the depth of the simulation. Like this took me a while to figure out because I was like, there's no way that's a thing. And then long
Yeah.
behold, it is. There was another thing that I found out, which is that people can become burdened by their transport costs. If you have like their jobs far away from their houses and stuff, that's money that they have to spend on gas to get out there. If you're importing vehicles at a really high cost, that gets pressed onto the consumer. And if you don't have alternate modes of transportation, they're forced to buy cars and then they go broke. And it's like that stuff gets simulated in there and it works really well. And there's things that you can do. Like you can literally start an auto industry in your city to drive the costs of your vehicles down. Or you can subsidize them if you really wanted to. And it's like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think we were talking about, wanting a game that did stuff like that in one of the
I
previous, CS streams.
And I'm genuinely surprised this is the route they went with CS2, because I really thought City Skylines 2 was going to be a more casual City Skylines 1. Because a lot of people just wanted to make pretty cities and like have their Zen game and stuff, and like that's basically it. And I was like, all right, yeah, that's cool. You know, I liked CS1 and stuff. I'll play Factorio when I want my like super degenerate nerd spreadsheety games and stuff. Like it's no
Mhm.
big deal. And then they released this and I started playing this. I'm like, they made something that appeals to me so much, because not only is it like you have to design cities that are more efficient now, there's also a whole economic sim that I've just never seen a game do at this scale before. And I don't think a lot of players are going to appreciate that because it's kind of complicated.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
the main thing that
ignore
worries me.
you can ignore a lot of it. It's pretty decent at running itself, but uh, eventually, if you don't like understand about like 80%, you're gonna run into issues where you're just like, I don't know what's going on here. Why is it doing this? Why is my city behaving this way? And that's not really good. The game doesn't do a good job of explaining, like introducing a lot of these ideas and stuff. And yeah, if you come in playing it like it's City Skylines 1, you're gonna have a rough time. And
And that's
if
part of
you've
the
never
problem is
played,
that people are expecting for it to be, I don't know. It makes sense that you would expect a sequel to just be the previous game, but more refined. But
mhm,
gameplay-wise, do we need another City Skylines?
I don't think so. I really
Wouldn't
don't
it be
think
better
so.
if they just dipped into the economy simulating aspects?
That's kind of it. Yeah. Um, like really, what you could have done with the game that I was envisioning they would go with it is just make a prettier City Skylines 1. Make it so that you
Yeah.
can make cities that are a little bit bigger, refine some of the tools, um, make modding and stuff more robust and easier, let modders go deeper into the system, fix some of the wonkiness with its simulations, like, you know, AI, traffic AI and stuff. That can easily, you know, that's all well and good. And then just call it at that, and then just start, you know, pounding out content. But no, they were like, we want players to design realistic cities, which in of itself is already a bold idea to have, because a lot of players want cities that, yeah, they look realistic, but like they don't want to actually have to consider the implications of like operating that city. or maybe the city will just really run itself. But they were like, no, we want players to have to build realistic cities. And the best way we can do that to ensure that they're going to make realistic cities is to build an actual economic simulation. And god damn it, did they actually do it. Like, and it's the part of the game that I feel like works the best. It's not perfect. There's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of issues that I still run into that were driving me insane. And there's just like a lot of stuff that they do have to tweak. I understand why they're saying like we need to overhaul the economic simulation, stuff like that. I totally get it.
Goodbye, Salty.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people who are saying like, oh, it's just completely broken, it's shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's really not as bad as you guys think it is. It really isn't.
Do you feel like a Starfield fan who's watching our videos and going, no, I hope Bethesda never listens to those people?
No. I really don't think so. For one, because those are like, it's like their core audience that's saying that, and I don't really give a fuck who you are. If you're a game developer and you have like a core audience, you really should be listening to them. Like, what, like they have some sort of complaint. It's your job to figure out how you're going to address it.
So in relation to this game, what do they need to do with this?
I think aside from fixing the bugs and stuff like that, and like tweaking some of the settings and everything, I think they just need to add more tools that help players diagnose what's going on. And honestly, they probably should just have like a tutorial, like a video tutorial series baked into the game that people can just sit there and watch, and it'll explain like everything that's going on. The reason I understand a lot of what's going on is just because I was reading like their dev diaries leading up to this. So there's a lot of there's a lot of information that's in there, and as far as I could tell, almost all of it's still like accurate.
Well, and you have real world kind of knowledge that probably an average CS player is going to lack.
Yeah.
When it comes to like urban planning.
And I also have a lot of experience with City Skylines 1. So like I kind of like a lot of the stuff functions in a way you would expect if you spent a lot of time like getting used to CS1's jank. Like a lot of the workarounds are kind of the same way. This bothers me. This is one of those bugs. So what happens here? This is one of the issues with the new like road tool system. Road tool system's fantastic, so much better than it was in CS1. I love it. But because it's more granular, your roads can like literally get knocked off by like the slightest degree. So somewhere in here, something is not a perfect square. Something is like 89.9 or something like that. And it might have even told me that it was 90 degrees.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So now...
I feel like as soon as you have that problem, you delete that top road and see if it's at the correct angle. Or...
Yeah. I just kind of don't really care too much because it's really not going to affect all that much. Like once I like zone this and everything, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between this and this. But it can get like really janky and like really bad. And that's when you start running into issues. And once again, it's just they had this solved in the first game. And it was, you could toggle zoning on different things. So what's going on here? This is what's going on. This road has zoning. This frontage here is zoned. Like, so this section here, this is its road frontage. This section here, this is its road frontage. And we're lucky, like this is fortunate because I can read like what's going on here. But sometimes you'll literally see something like this. It'll look like this. You'll start zoning it, and you'd think like the houses are going to populate going down like this, but they actually start going like this because this road didn't actually create the frontage. It's just
their auto grid system seems confused about which ones are the kind of connecting arterial streets and which ones are the actual.
Yeah. And like, so you see like this kind of like corrected itself, but I'm willing to bet it didn't. So what's probably happening here is like this frontage got cut off. So if I zone this, I can test it right now. Okay, so that frontage actually did. So then is it the back frontage? Like this one here. That would be messed up. No, okay. This one actually worked correctly. But yeah, sometimes it'll look correct, like it fixed itself, but it won't be. And you'll go to like zone a section and it's just like, oh, I can't build on this road. I have to do it on this road. And it's just like it's weird because like they had a tool in that they added post launch. It was one of the last things they added to CS1, and that's that you could just toggle like which side of the road is gonna
Oh,
be the
that's so new.
frontage.
I have never even used it.
Yeah. So it's weird that that tool first off wasn't in the game to begin with, and second off, it's still not in the game.
So Season of Discovery.
Right, yeah, yeah. We did I did my obligatory talk about the game I'm actually playing. Let's go back to talking about the game that I canceled my subscription on.
Yeah. Listen, people are just people aren't chatting because they are enthralled. I mean, I
No,
find
they're all
this all
probably
interesting because I've
probably all
never
going to
played this.
bed.
Yeah, I've never
It's
played this, so this is like kind of my first exposure to this.
yeah.
So,
So like I started when I was starting to write the script for this video before they dropped the bombshell on me. It was basically me starting with I don't know if I can recommend this game or not. Because like for me personally, I have over 100 hours in this and I've enjoyed almost all of those 100 hours. Like this has been a ton of fun for me.
mhm.
But I'm also somebody who makes spreadsheets for fun and genuinely enjoys doing taxes a little bit. So it's like I'm kind of a niche case here where like this game that they built really, really appeals to me in very specific ways that I did not expect. For the average player, I don't know. I really don't know because the game is still jank. It still feels like it's in beta. Uh, the
Is
mods are
zoning on
cool.
is zoning on curved roads fucked?
It's not great. I'll show you what it looks like. It's still like the same as it was in CS1, where it's just like you just get these gaps here.
Yeah.
Like it'll look it'll look natural when you start actually like zoning properties and stuff. Like you're not gonna really if you looked on Google Maps and saw like what this would look like in real life. The problem is that people don't have yards in this game.
Yeah. And they don't fill those extras.
Yeah,
The
like
spaces between the lots would be filled with like either like little forest areas or parking lots.
yeah, yeah. Um, or people would have just, they'd fence this in and this would be their yard and stuff. It's like, yeah, you could go
Mhm.
in and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna, add some trees and stuff and we'll call it a day. And it'll look, like
Yeah, just
natural after a point.
add your own fence and
Yeah, but it's like, that's kind of a pain in the ass to keep doing that on a bunch of different curved roads. So that's why
listen,
I
they're trying to
just usually
subtly
do
push you towards grid-based
grid-based, yeah.
design
The
so that you make
superior.
the American mistake
The superior. Oh, here I'll do
of
the
cities for cars.
I'll do these people a surface here. There you go. This is now a walkable neighborhood. Congratulations, we did it. Mission accomplished. Notice how these roads don't have sidewalks, but they're still a
The
2-lane road.
Can you zoom in on them?
Yeah,
Yeah, I see that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's a residential street. That's not uncommon
It's
in America
so
for
so so. You want to know what the game calls these?
what?
They're called alleys.
Ooh,
I like
okay.
I like the European diss on American suburban roads. It's like,
Yeah.
nah, those are alleys, bro. Those aren't
Yeah,
streets.
those are supposed to be between like the behinds of houses so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you can
yeah,
park behind your house.
yeah. But it's like, no, this is. It even has like a pretty appropriate speed limit. Like 25 miles per hour is pretty much what you would see on a road like this, a street like
Hmm.
this in America, and it looks, relatively correct.
So night one of phase 3, Scarlet Monastery is packed. Night 2 is empty, barren. Do you remember me remarking on that? because it was so stark to
It
me.
was, yeah.
It it was just nobody was running SM in the leveling 40 to 50. That's not normal, right? Because what normally happens in classic era is when people hit the kind of lower to mid 30s, they farm Scarlet Monastery until level 42, and then once they're level 42, they go to Zul'Farrak. That's kind of the sweaty way to level. So there being no level 40s in Scarlet Monastery, something ain't right. So we go to investigate what had happened with Phase 3, and I had heard about this content before this night, this new like Emerald Incursion content, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool. I'm sure we can. Maybe we'll try it out one night just to check it out."
God, it's so funny listening to it this way. 'Cause, like, just
Hmm.
the amount of knowledge we now have.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember the exact kind of order of
Yeah, the
events.
chronology.
I think we checked out the Emerald Incursions because I was reading so much about it. Like people were so angry on the subreddit that I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we gotta expedite going here. Because we play like 3 days a night on
Right, right,
average,
right.
or 3 days a week.
What was the inciting factor? What the inciting incident was that I needed to get a rune. I needed to get the burn rune.
Right, and that was from
Yeah, yeah. So
the rep grind.
yeah, so I started that night. I'm like, I got some bad news for you. We got to do these, and you have to do them too, because you have a rune.
Yeah, yeah. So if you don't know, SOD is kind of built around runes. They added runes which add new abilities. They're kind of mostly from different expansions. But they didn't want to touch the talent system. They didn't
Here's
want to touch the default spells,
here's
so
your
they added
parking.
these runes as like ways to kind of make more specs viable, like Warlock tank or Mage healer, right? Um, so we got to do incursions, and it's like, well, we can make money. One, we can level. Two, we can get the rep for this. Three, we need the rep anyways for the runes. Four, let's go do the incursions.
Hmm.
So we hit level 40. We went to
The
Ashenvale.
the calculus that literally every poor soul playing SOD Phase 3 would make.
Yeah. It was too many positives to this. And mind you, we had to scrounge to pay for mounts this time. My first run, I didn't have to scrounge to pay for mounts because the economy was so inflated that I had literal thousands of gold by the time I was level 40. But yeah, we had
No.
to like I had to buy them out first. You had to give me money because I was playing
Yeah,
main.
yeah,
And then you farmed leather to make up the money to
yeah.
get your own. But yeah, so we go to Ashenvale to check out these new incursions. The incursions are at the Emerald Dream gateways. And so if you remember from Classic, there's 4 Emerald Dream gateways. They're in Ashenvale, Duskwood, Feralis, and the Hinterlands. And God, how do you even describe incursions to somebody who hasn't played Season of Discovery? Like, is
I
familiar
was
with
saying,
Classic but hasn't
I was
played
asking
it?
that question while we were doing
Yeah,
it.
like every night. Like, how do
How
you
do
even
we, like,
So they're not good, first of all.
yeah, yeah,
They're not good to the
let's,
extent that they probably killed Season of Discovery.
yeah.
Like, not immediately, right? It's going to be a slow death, like somebody being poisoned. But it's death nonetheless, because what they did was they killed the economy, and they killed people doing questing. So what it is you go to an NPC and they give you a quest and you kill some demons and then get a letter and you go back to that NPC and they give you a thing. They give you a little what was it, like a pouch or something? A mission brochure? I don't know.
Yeah, 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 the mission brief.
Yeah, the mission briefs. So you have to open the mission brief and you take an item out and it'll ask, looting this will bind this item to you. Do you? And it's like, what the fuck? Yes, this is the brief is bound to me, so like I couldn't trade it if I wanted to. Then you have to take out a deputy star, and that's also bind on pickup. So it prompts you again, would you like to pick this up? So you've pressed like 3 or 4 buttons to open the brief to get the thing out. And it gives you a mission. And then you go into the portal, and it sends you to the Emerald Dream to do the mission. The Emerald Dream is just a shader that's applied to the area. So you're like in the same area, but there's different mobs there. And there's like a couple like giant flowers that were, if you've never seen it, there's a video on what the Emerald Dream that they were working on that was never released. Who is it? I think Bo Bell was supposed to make the Emerald Dream, and then they kind of didn't know what they wanted to do with it. So these quests,
they're good. They're
great.
amazing. They are the content World of Warcraft players deserve.
Well, okay, Classic Plus was always a Classic Plus was always a thing that people wanted. They wanted to kind of, for Blizzard to go back and like make these zones that they had skipped out on the first time. And so this was like the first stab at it. And so they made these missions where you just go in and like collect a letter from a guy. Like that, and that's like the sweaty try hard ones, right? we started out we were doing like any that we could do because there's a couple that are tied to gathering professions we didn't have. So we go in there and we're doing it, and there's just this constant stream of people coming through. Like there's a giant horde. Like we're on a PvE server, by the way. It was even worse on PvP servers. It was a nightmare scenario on PvP servers.
So much worse.
Yeah. So, and I chose a PvE server because I leveled to 60 on a PvP server and decided that it was so not fun that I was never going to do it again. So, yeah, these are like repetitive missions where you go into and out of a portal and you like talk to a guy, or you grab an item, or you escort an NPC. And thankfully they're the good escort quest where they just follow you at mount speed. But still. So there's just tons and tons of people there. You have to keep going into and out of this portal where you get dismounted on the ramp up to it. And the ramp is covered in like at-level enemies that have silence effects. And
up until this point, I kept repeating this phrase of, this game is designed by people who like hate their players. So the game is designed to infuriate the players. And to see that, because you were like kind of being like, well, you know, it's better, like, you know, this is classic content. Like, yeah, they've learned lessons since then. And then and then to see this, and it's like, yeah, so about those lessons.
Well, you had always been approaching it from a the game was made by sadists.
Yeah, and they like to troll their audience.
Do something, or I would tell you about something. Like this was later, but I told you about Lincoln's quest line. Like I sat down and explained the individual steps of Lincoln's quest line, like all the travel you have to do. Which, by the way, I added it up. It's 70 minutes of flying for Alliance, and like 2.5 hours for Horde. Going to the same places. For some reason, Horde flight paths on Kalimdor take twice as long.
That quest is so convoluted that it took you an hour just to explain it to me.
Yeah, just to break it down, because I was like having to use the tool to get the flight times.
Yeah.
And go through all the steps, look at some patches, because like this quest line is in Ungoro, which didn't have a flight point until 1.10. So for like 1.5 years, you had to ride to complete phases of this quest all the way from Gadgetzan into like the ass end of Ungoro Crater just to talk to Lincoln. But it was really funny that people would cite it as their favorite quest too, because I legit think it was just because it was a Legend of Zelda reference that people were positive towards it. Because if you actually analyze it for the quest that it is, it's like, no, this is atrocious. So like I explained the Scolomon's key. The Scolomon's key quest, which is much more straightforward for the same like world traveling concept. Like you go from the Plague Lands to Gadgetzan, but you only do it once. Okay, you don't go back and forth constantly. But anyways, WoW, Vanilla WoW, made by sadists for people who deserve to be punished.
Not only do they deserve to be punished, they enjoy being punished.
Made by the Wardens of Hell.
Yeah. Well, what is the line Uber Danger used? I think it's like it's a game made by shitters for shitters, something like that.
And that's a good reference point. But we were doing SOD, which is modern content.
Yeah, Season of Dads.
And we had done some of like the rune quests, and they were kind of cool. Like collecting runes in SOD was fun.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there were a couple of them that were like, but
yeah, but
there was, and like some of my favorites were the ones that just literally had us running around the entire world.
Yeah, so like same concept, but the end reward. I think the difference really is like if the end reward is useful or not.
Yeah,
like the Lincoln quest doesn't have a useful reward.
Yeah,
other than the boomerang, but the SOD runes are cool.
Really,
they add new mechanics and progression.
There's even a boomerang.
Yeah, it's like a trinket, and it has like a chance to stun.
Nice.
Paladins love it. So yeah, we're having fun, and then we get to phase 3, and it's these incursions, and
made by shitters for fuckers. That's the line. If anybody sitting here listening to this right now, if you've never watched Uber Danger's World of Warcraft series, you have to watch that before you watch me and Pat's World of Warcraft videos. That is, you have to watch it as your homework. You have like 6 months. Get on it.
Yeah.
Probably watch the Barney one too. Barney 64's videos too. Those are also supreme.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, the copers, the WoW addicts are like, well, if you don't like incursions, just don't do them, right? The usual argument.
But here's the season of denial.
Here's where that falls apart, because in a single player game, you at least have the perspective of like, yeah, you get to play the single player game however you want. If you don't like the content of the single player game, you don't have to play it. The problem is, dungeon groups just evaporated in phase 3. We just couldn't find. We stopped being able to find dungeon groups in phase 3 because everybody that was leveling 40 to 50 in phase 3 was doing incursions because it paid a lot of money and it contributed to a rep grind that they had to do anyways, and it would level them from 40 to 50, and so everybody did them.
And so here's the problem that I was running into. Dungeons were the only thing that I actually enjoyed doing in this game.
Yeah, literally the only thing that you seem to have fun with was tanking dungeons.
Yeah. I even said it at one point where I was like, when we finally like started getting into, because it was getting really touch and go for me several times, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like I literally came on one day and that's literally what I said. I'm like, I don't know. That's when you know there's trouble. But we started like, getting good into our characters and stuff. Like we were hitting like our 30s and stuff. Things were popping off. We were getting runes and everything, and like we had mechanics now. I had more than like 2 abilities that I can use and stuff, and it was like dungeoning and stuff got really, really good. And I was just like, okay, I'll stick it out if like we just keep doing dungeons, but if we got to do like quests and shit again, I'm out.
No, like we had to quest in the Barrens for a bit, and that was awful.
I mean, the Barrens just awful in general. But.
Yeah, we spent way too much time. Like that was a recurring joke was, hey, guess where we're going again? Because we would just like, even Season of Discovery sends you to the Barrens way too many times. But there's an XP boost in SOD. I should mention that. Like since basically phase 2 started, there's been an XP boost in Season of Discovery to get through the tedious stuff. And anyways, so dungeons are dead. The current level range is 40 to 50, and it's just the scene is dead. But there are people in the LFG, but they're not looking for dungeon groups. They're looking for what are called wild offering groups. They added another token rep currency grind shit to Classic, where there's these enemies that you encounter in Zul'Farrak and Maradon and Blackrock Depths.
I unlocked parking lots for you. We can start,
nice.
We can start building parking lots.
Yeah, you better spend half your budget on building parking lots. Can you mandate like parking minimums? Or is it not that great?
Nah.
Damn.
But I mean, look at there's some decent sized parking lots for a lot of these businesses. You got to remember the scale, like the scale of the game is like 1 to 4. So, wish you listened to my content on deployment like you did with Patricia. Your stuff is fun to watch. Hey, you know what's important is that you're here now. Thank you for your service.
We make content for the working class, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, these wild offering grinds, it's like kill 3 bosses in Zul'Farrak, and then you kill a thing, and that's the wild offering. You just spam that, or just farm. Like they added more reasons to farm Princess and Maradon. They literally made it impossible to find just a regular Maradon group. I don't think I'm just gonna have to run around with my rogue at level 60 and like just to see what Maradon looks like, because I didn't find a good Maradon group on my rogue, and I sure as hell didn't find a good Maradon group on when we were just doing SOD.
Yeah, we had that one dude who was like, because it was just you and me, so basically like duoing it, and we're like, all right, we need like some DPS here, so we got like one warrior to come in. I think he was. Dude didn't say anything at all. He said the only thing he said while we were playing, and this was like, I don't know, like 40 minutes into like our dungeon, and he's like, hey, are we gonna do princess?
Yeah, and he asked, he was wearing the welfare gear.
Yeah,
because the rep grind gives you level 50 welfare gear too, by the way.
And then
so yeah, that guy was weird.
And then when you said like, I don't know, he like disappeared.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes.
Well,
like not even 20 minutes, like
not,
10, like 5 minutes later.
Was it not clear that we were doing the scepter quest so that we could have the scepters to do princess? Like,
I don't know.
That's what we were doing. We did orange up until he had the quest. That was the confusing part. He had the quest. He picked up the item. So he was on, like, he was doing the scepter quest with us, but then I guess he thought we were a princess group. It was really fucking bizarre.
World of Warcraft.
So anyways, yeah, nobody's doing Zul'Farrak except to farm these things, and even then people found out that farming Maradon was way faster, so yeah, we reached the point so we hit level 50 last week.
Yep.
And we were kind of sitting on it. I was kind of thinking about like what was going on, what we're gonna do. And I was looking at the state of things, and I'm like, this is a mess, and I doubt it's gonna get better. The game is probably like not the game, but SOD specifically is probably doomed as is, because the incursions continue, right? We did it 40 to 50, but it is viable that people are going to get to do it 50 to 60. And it starts at 25. They back added it to the 25 to 40 bracket. So it is legit a possibility that going forward in SOD, there won't be any dungeon groups besides what you need to do to get to level 25. Because everybody is just going to be doing
that's weird.
The incursions. Is that the dump?
Yeah.
Oh, you can set a custom landfill size?
Yeah. So what this is using like their new district tool, basically. I actually really like it. It works pretty well. Nice and intuitive. You unlock the ability to like actually like zone things out, and you use the tool for a bunch of different things. This being one of them. Normally, when I go to like edit a zone or whatever, I just click on the button. But as you can see, it's grayed out because I don't have the tools unlocked yet. Yeah, this is a tool that you would use. So
Pre-filled dump.
yeah, so I have to. Well, it's actually not pre-filled. What will happen is like it'll like pile up as it
Right.
fills up. Yeah, it's just yeah, kind of like just it's one of those things, you know. It's the little things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I had to like go in here and like click on this. This is literally a problem you will not really run into unless you're paying like really close attention. Like, see, I'm almost at level 3 already, so it's like I did not notice. Anyways, still, little things.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I didn't like spamming dumps in
Yeah.
this one.
Oh man, the city services work so much better in this game. They are way more efficient. Like it's viable to have an entire city running off of like one centralized dump location. It's nice. It works.
Yeah. No, what I would say, why people don't like Kata and Beyond and Mists is that Cataclysm removed a tangible sense of danger from the world. And what's kind of funny, don't tell the vanilla players this, but a lot of those elite quests that they like, they got turned into regular quests in TBC. Like TBC actually dropped the world difficulty down quite a bit. But the reason people like Classic Era is because it's tangibly difficult. There's an incentive to group up to do things. Everything, like when you hear the developers talk about making Vanilla WoW, a lot of the arguments came down to this is a social game. We want to encourage people to socialize. So, like they were against the auction house because they felt that it depersonalized the economy too much.
That don't look all that right, but
Sorry, I was looking at the development screen.
yeah, that's another feature I actually think they did a like surprisingly good job with, and it's actually balanced well. Like the progression's actually balanced well and stuff. I assumed it would have just been like, yeah, we didn't really put much thought into like how it's set up or anything, but now the progression's like it's obvious they put a lot of like effort into it and a lot of refinement into that system, and I'm like, nice, nice, and modders can use it and stuff, so good. There's good bones to this game, and that's
Just
ultimately
came out too early.
yeah. It needed another year to bake, but ultimately, I feel like a lot of the issues can be fixed. I personally think they will be fixed. I'm unironically pretty confident in saying City Skylines 2 will one day be good. But yeah, I think like if I had to give like a general advice for like purchasing the game, wait until the summer. Like wait until the next Steam sale, Steam summer sale, because it'll probably be discounted then. And yeah, just pick it up then. By then, the mods will probably be much more polished, and they'll have more bug fixes and stuff done and everything like that. And then the DLCs will start rolling out in the fall. Let's build like a apartment building complex. That'd be cool. I need to do more tile acquisition.
Went from MMOs to O's. No, that really is like wow. So like, how many people when we were doing quests did we talk to while doing the dungeon?
There was that one dude. I started like RPing when we were in the love sack, and
Yeah, anytime someone would put down the XP boosting sleeping bag from SOD, like people would chat.
yeah, because you had nothing else to do because you're just sitting there waiting for your buff.
Yeah,
So yeah, I had an interaction there where I was like, "Hey, who's touching my leg right now?" And somebody was like, "Oh, that was me. Sorry." Like that's literally the only interaction I think I've really had in this game.
yeah, it was depressingly antisocial. So it's good to know that it's not just retail WoW that's played that way. It's now classic WoW too. So someone has watched WoW but never played it without spoiling spoiling your whole video, would you say it justifies the sub price? If you just level. But even then, you have to play at the right time. You have to play when Era is active, and you should really just play Era. And you should, like, you can trial it and see if you like the gameplay. The trial goes to 20, I think. A lot of classes pick up around 30, but, you know, you get a general idea of how your class works by 20. But yeah, SOD, really, really fucking promising idea that they killed. Damn it, they killed it.
They just, yeah. It's.
I think you got to make the road first and then the roundabout.
Yeah, that's. Look at that. What is that? You can just delete roundabouts now? It's funny. They made the roundabouts better, and then they made like the prefab intersections way, way worse. They're fucking abysmal.
I never used the prefab roundabout anyway, so.
Well, now you can. It's pretty simple. You just boop. It works really well, and like you can, like drag, you know, like roads to it, and it's like it's intelligent, and like if you increase the number of, like I'll put in a 4-lane.
What I'll say is, I got like
here, and
probably 400 hours of content.
And look at that! Look at that! You see,
months of subscription.
I was literally about to start pointing at my screen in real life.
Yeah.
You can see though, like it increases the
yeah, it's dynamically.
Yeah,
God, there was so much fiddle. You basically had to know the lane throughput before you actually put it down.
Yeah, dude, it's so like it's little things like that that made me uninstall CS1 because I'm like, I can't play this game anymore without like shit like this. This is so good. Like I'll put up with the bugs and everything right now, so at least I know how to like work around them. Yeah, it's just like stuff like that, like little stuff that they made, and I'm just like, it's nice. It's really nice. Like the replace tool is really cool now too. Like I'll show you how it works. So like beforehand, you would have to like drag it all the way up and whatever. It was like kind of finicky. Here it's just end to end. And look, you can like offset it too. And you can use that too to like this is a little trick that I learned. So like say I wanted to like move this road like way over here. You just do like this. And you can just like keep moving, just keep shifting it. It's just
that is really cool.
Yeah, and you can create slip lanes and stuff like that. Let's build like a little bit of a highway. Do I have the funds to be able to do it? Yeah, I got the funds. It's like this. It's cool. Like they did a lot. I'll buy some plots out here.
No, what probably killed WoW was probably Destiny style games. You know, your Warframes, games where you can do like PvE content with 4 players, just drop in matchmaking.
Yeah,
you could just buy unsegmented tiles.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
What map is this? This is a map that I made myself. I'm a huge pain in the ass when it comes to maps. I'm very, very particular. So I really struggle a lot with like pre-made maps. So yeah, I'll just show you like how you build like a highway. So let's see. This is 2-lane. I'll do some parity here and I'll keep it 2-lane. So you have parallel tool here. You can increase the offset. So what this is gonna do is increase the width between there. You can get pretty damn close too. Like you couldn't do this in City Skylines 1. Get roads that close. Like not possible. And you can get closer too.
There was a mod that let you move anything.
Yeah.
You had to move the road points.
Yep. I think I have that one installed actually. But anyways, so yeah, do that and you just
because that was the only way you could make slip lanes in CS1.
Yeah. So do something like this. And I mean, I've gotten pretty good at doing like interchanges by hand now too. Mostly because I don't have the prefabs to like lean on as a crutch anymore, but also because the tools are just better. Okay, so how do I want to do this?
So yeah, at this point, we're kind of just waiting on phase 4 to come out, because that's the main phase that we wanted to do that has all the cool dungeons.
Yes, watch.
And we're kind of just hoping that incursions don't kill those dungeons. They shouldn't. They shouldn't if people are chasing their pre-raid best in slots for 60, but
yeah,
you never know.
yeah. So you see how this works? Like this is
Yeah, I see it's adding a...
yeah, and like you can do shit like this, where it'll be like on the
Oh, so you
left
can have
and
an
the right.
actual like effective off ramp. Nice.
This is how you do it now. This is the new way of doing things.
We're in the 21st century, old man.
And then you just end to end. That's it.
Oh, I don't think this is interstate highway compliant.
No. Let me see, what angle do I want? I usually like a good like 23 to 25% or degree angle.
But so phase 3, the whole time we've been coping that phase 3 was bad because they were getting ready for their Cata Classic launch. And then Cata Classic has been a cataclysm of issues in its own right.
Literally living up to its name.
Mm-hmm. Some things never change. Although I don't think it was as buggy back in the day.
So like what you would do here is you would actually then cut that out. Look at that. You got a proper, actually I don't need that much. There you go. Proper.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's 3 lanes all the way through. That seems...
Yeah. And then...
and people consistently use it. They don't like lane change at the last second.
Yep. I mean, sometimes you'll see people lane change at the last second, but that's actually a feature. People think it's bug, but it's not. There is a bug sometimes that you'll get if your nodes are busted. That can sometimes happen, but what you do is you just demolish that segment of road and rebuild it. But there's also a like a responsibility rating for different individuals, like different drivers. So you'll see people do like illegal maneuvers because they just are deciding to break the law because it's going to save them time. And so it's like I was seeing maneuvers, like them pulling maneuvers and stuff, and I was like, people would be showing it in videos like on Reddit or whatever. I'm like, I see that in New York all the time. Yeah, that's literally
it's kind of cool if they're simulating people breaking the law.
Yeah.
Did we try
and they can
and
yes, they can cause car accidents doing that too.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
So do you have any thoughts on the Ashenvale event that we played?
You mean the sad march, the
Yeah, so Ashenvale events on our server are we would log in at Splinter Tree Post, and we would go out like 20 feet to the Alliance thing that's across the road, and we would kill the boss there, get a commendation, and then go back and like turn it in when it was all over.
Yeah. So how is it supposed to play? We should probably start with that.
So there's 3. Each faction has 3 points. When you kill the boss at that point, it knocks it off, and then that makes the boss weaker, and then whoever kills the other person's boss first wins the mode. So in theory, you could like just try to rush the boss and burn it down without hitting the other points, but the ideal way would be to hit those 3 kind of things.
Look at that. Look at that.
And then of course you could try to defend your general as well.
Just ignore the
yeah, that's pretty seamless.
Yeah, just ignore the visual bug there. You know, it's it's in a beta, guys.
Yeah, but this is still way more robust than CS1.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at that's smooth.
The weekly then daily marks. Yeah, we've only done it when it was daily, but as I understand it was weekly before, and because we were getting our Warsong rep up to get a couple pieces of gear. We did not play the Blood Moon event, because I think that one actually mandates that you do PvP. So
Yeah, yeah, we weren't. I mean, we were
I wasn't
just.
opposed to the concept. It was more a matter of like, do we have time for this? Do we
Well, I don't
do
know.
we
I
want
feel
to
I
do
feel
this?
like we were justified in shrugging off PvP because you should probably mention what happened to the PvP servers in Phase
Yeah,
3.
so in the middle, like early into phase 3, they announced that they're doing limited free transfers off of PvP servers. You know, it's the last helicopter out of Afghanistan. Um, Basically what had happened was, and I just wrote about this in the script today. So, Ashen Vale incursions, very small space that both factions have to share to get the quests, go through the portal, come out of the portal, and do the quests. And so what was happening was people were just getting ruthlessly corpse camped by 40-man raids of the opposing faction. But then you have to factor in, if you haven't played in a while, the layering system. So there are multiple layers in realms because realms are able to have so many more people in them now compared to back in the day, that there are like alternate dimensions basically that you can use group invites to get invited into, but sometimes the game also will just layer you out of your current layer. And God, I'm just looking at this, the accidents this is going to cause. Um,
I will like to point out that this is something. Oh well, I mean, I can, you know, cut this out so that it's adding a lane, right? But
so
this is
what was
still this
what,
is still. I don't think this is interstate
no,
code
it's not.
because you need to have your off ramps before your on ramps. But I will say this is something you will see quite a bit on New York State's parkways, and
Yeah,
they will be
it's just curves.
actually no. This is pretty comfortable for a New York State parkway. This is I'll maybe one day I'll show you guys like what some of them look like around here. You take your life into your hands when you're driving those.
So what happened was the Horde would get a layer and the Alliance would get a layer because there were so many people stacking in, and they were just layer transferring to the one that their faction 100% controlled. And if you got stuck in the opposing faction's layer, you just got ruthlessly corpse camped because people were doing it to farm honor too. So it just got so bad that people just wanted to transfer out. And the problem was the transfers were dumb as well. They made a ton of mistakes with the transfers because they want to maintain, they have like this new tech for trying to maintain faction balance because servers always just go 100% for a faction anyways. And so instead of just opening the transfer window and letting anybody who wanted to leave get out, you had to like log in at a super specific time and um, try to evacuate then. And so what happened was a ton of guilds got cut up. It was actually funny. I was looking at like guild recruitment messages, and like half the guild recruitment messages on our server now are, hey, so we just transferred from Lone Wolf, and half of our members didn't get to transfer with them, so we kind of need to fill these raid slots. Like this phase has done a lot of damage to raiding guilds. Jesus, this interchange is
But
hey, what, it gets the job done.
but it looks clean though. Is the thing. Like
Yeah,
you would
no,
not be able
it
to
looks
get
amazing.
these like curves and these angles and stuff in the base game. Like I could do like better. I could have like really what this should do is like come in, drag out a little bit more, and then like have like a
No,
harder
what's
curve
amazing
here.
about
But
this is that you did it in like 10 minutes,
yeah,
less than 10
yeah.
minutes.
I mean,
Like
granted,
this is
I am used to the tools now and stuff, so like I knew how to add like because that's one of the keys to understanding like how to build like good roads and stuff is how to connect different types of like highways and roadways and stuff using the replace tool because they have like contextual relationships and stuff. So like when you know how to like layer those things in like that really like
Ye-
next level, like elevates your road networks.
No, that was great. My only concern is the safety of the
No,
on ramp and off
oh,
ramp
they'll
sharing the same
be
slip lane.
fine. We don't have, sure, we don't have like emergency rescue services yet in this city, but they'll be fine. So what's happening right now is my rents. People are complaining about rent. Why is that?
Uh, did they really say that there were going to be no transfers on the seasonal realms? That's a weird box to put yourself into. That makes the decision weirder because it seemed like they didn't try to clear what was going on before they made the big decision. The big like that's a huge thing to offer free realm transfers off of PvP servers.
Yeah,
Because
that's the
they
operating point there is PvP servers.
well, and weirdly, they after they announced the free transfers like a couple days, they then added a damage reduction because the problem with
Oh,
PvP
right.
servers was that they everybody's doing like Wrath of the Lich King damage with classic health. So literally combat is just who hits who first because everybody's like critting for your entire health bar. And then like after they announced the helicopter rescue, they added a damage reduction, a 50% damage reduction so that the time to kill is longer so that it's not as annoyingly bursty of PvP. And like why wouldn't they see if that worked before they announced the transfers?
Do not know.
But yeah, SOD has been hilariously mismanaged.
Yeah, it's some like Bethesda levels of what the fuck is going on right now.
Yeah, especially with the gaslighting.
Yep.
And so we are really hoping to do the dungeons next phase. Oh, something I thought of was um, I can part one, part two the video and do the dungeons I haven't done in part two,
Yeah.
just to kind of give me more time. And maybe I even like maybe I do a guild recruitment in the first part so that
So we have actual people, so we won't have this issue again.
yeah, and we could just do that in Era, and then we'll just boost your warrior up,
Yeah. In
boost them up to 60.
in Era, or would you be doing that in Wrath or Kata, I guess?
Well, it's to do the dungeons that I haven't
Haven't done.
really
Yeah.
gotten to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
yet,
yeah.
so it's going to be the Era. Listen, the Wrath thing, you know, that's its own future problem. You can buy boosts, and no, what you need to do is log in now and try to get in a battleground so that you can jump from 10 to 70 in one
Yeah.
battleground.
Yeah, that's what was going on with that?
The um they awarded way too much experience in battlegrounds, so people were like instant capping.
So how quick wait, so how quickly was it going? Like how fast were people leveling?
10 to 70 in like 20 minutes. So that would be level 10 as you know it to the end of the Burning Crusade.
Oh, okay. How long should it take?
Um at that point 10 to 70, I mean you're looking at like 200 hours for like a average player.
Right, because they don't have like
I mean
XP
it's
boosts or anything in
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah,
Oh
no, the
God.
leveling is like kind of the same
Uh,
as Era.
oh, I'm just. Oh, that's gonna suck.
So the weird part is they said that the classic team wasn't affected by the layoffs. It was supposed to be mostly like customer support people. Like that's why tickets are taking 9 days for Blizzard to give you an automated response.
Oh.
It's so funny that the automated response is that lagging behind, but um
Oh, you know what's probably
I don't
happening?
think like the SO team the SOD or the classic team was like 17 people back in the day and I don't think they added more people to it
Okay,
is the problem.
here's I figured out what's going on here. So what's happening right now is people are complaining about high rent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost willing to bet once I start putting down large apartment buildings, a lot of that's going to start to go away. Because those people are
Right, because
probably,
they're gonna move
yeah,
into.
yeah, because they probably want like a lower rent house, but like the only low rent places we have are like these guys down here, and not many. So let's find out. That's what I was
Thoughts on
going
the
to look here.
removal of GDKPs? Yeah, they got rid of GDKPs in SOD. It's complicated because the people that do it or like to do it are all like, well, incursions ruin the economy, so I guess GDKPs don't matter, and because incursions make you play like you are a bot. But the important thing to remember is that it is not removing the real market gold trading. It is removing the incentive for real market gold trading because people want to have tons of gold to do it, and so that was incentivizing them to buy it. Um, I don't think it really changes that much. I mean, there were always kind of pugs going. I don't know if it maybe it reduced the number of groups that were running. I don't know. It just seemed did you at any point, as I explained the GDKP system to you, did you ever feel that like SOD was missing that?
No, I don't think so. Well, so like the whole point of GDKP is to get gear, right?
Yeah, it's a way to
What difference is it? Why do we even really care so much about gear?
well, it part of it is to give people, well, do you want to ask that question? Okay, that's like asking the meaning of life, you know. It's like gear's the only thing I've got, man.
My finances suck.
The idea that they fired all of the people who organized BlizzCon by accident is very funny, and I hope it's true. That would be a very funny reason for BlizzCon to have been canceled.
I mean,
If we take it at face value, they fired redundant customer service people, even though
I could see because that's usually like that's probably like a part of their marketing team, and marketing's like one of the first things that get cut. So I would not be surprised if they fired the people who would normally make that stuff, and came time for BlizzCon, they were probably relying on like a very small team, and they're just like, yeah, we don't have the people to do this, so fuck.
I feel like groups weren't as abundant in phase 2 and 3, and you could be biased. Well, groups definitely aren't as abundant or raiding specifically isn't as abundant in phase 3 because it's 20 man instead of 10 man, and the lockouts weekly instead of every 3 days. So that's contributing to the low log counts on Sunken Temple. But I also think a lot of people are realizing that there's no point in doing Sunken Temple. Like, you might as well just wait for phase 4 to come out so you could just go straight to getting your level 60 gear.
So, you know what's interesting is we're going to talk about the lot size again. And this is something that the game does not at all explain. I had to read about this in the dev diaries. Different lot sizes with industries actually affect what businesses are going to be spawning there. So large lot sizes will produce like large manufacturing, like factories and stuff, and warehouses. And warehouses actually operate like they have a whole warehousing system. It's pretty nutty. Anyways, you want to put small places down too, because there are entire businesses that only use small lots. So if you're trying to like bootstrap an industry and you're like, why isn't it starting in my city? Look at your lot sizes. Make sure that you have an appropriate like distribution of different lot sizes in your
I think that was a
industry.
thing in CS1, wasn't it?
Uh, I don't.
I think in the industries they were not in the general
Mhm.
industrial zoning.
I don't remember. There was a lot of stuff that was actually in CS1 that people just didn't realize. And the reason is just it didn't play much of an important role. In this, though, because I still don't have the production thing unlocked, but there's a whole thing to this. And so you want to
Yeah,
be paying attention to all
you
this
can't
stuff.
just blanket zone. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And that's the thing, too, is like the game doesn't explain this to you ever. I literally read that
Mhm.
in a dev diary. It's just like, oh
Yeah, so
yeah,
they
entire
definitely have like a
industries.
communication
Hmm.
problem.
Communication, feedback, that sort of stuff.
Is this like a Finnish game dev thing? Because Noida has the same thing, where
Might.
it's like, yeah, we gave you a couple generic hints. What do you mean you can't beat the game?
Yeah, yeah, it really could be.
Well, Noida, or not Noida. I know the Finnish people are very socially skittish. They, I don't think they culturally like explaining themselves.
Mm.
So it may well be possible that you're just supposed to get it, or like do a lot of work to research it yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I that was some of the most fun I had was just figuring out like different systems and stuff with this game. It was a
Hmm.
ton of fun for me, but I can absolutely see why a lot of other players would absolutely fucking hate that.
So
Especially, well, the problem too is when you have known bugs in the game that
yeah,
do manifest in ways that look like what I'm having issues with, like this whole thing here. This is also a known bug. It's called the land value bug. And what happens is the value of the land keeps going up, up, and up. And there's no real caps to it in the way it spreads via like roads and stuff. So, like, people can be making a lot of money and they're still getting priced out of their homes. Uh, so, like, I'll see this and I can be like, okay, it's either a bug or I'm doing something wrong. And yeah, I was just doing something wrong. Also,
I like to think that the game is teaching you about like there are benefits to multimodal transportation
mm-hmm.
and
And watch, like you saw, I have notice I haven't zoned any. Look at that, like the low residential is dropping because I'm building high resident. I'm building like higher capacity residential and stuff now, and that's where the real demand was. But because I wasn't zoning this stuff, people were like, I guess I'll pick a house. I guess I'll take a house. So
to answer the chatter, soon he's gonna make it like in kind of smaller parts, and you can get those on the Patreon sooner if you're
yeah,
feeling a little impatient. But not now. We're not streaming because we got anything to sell you. We're just hanging out. Um, so you saw the job posting that I sent you, right?
yeah, that it
Did
was.
you actually look at the pay?
No, I didn't see the pay. All I noticed was that they were all quality assurance positions.
All right. Starting pay, you got to work in you got to work in Irvine, California, and they want you to come into the office.
Ah,
Starting pay $19 to $23 an hour.
ah, I see. So you're gonna live in a tent city.
Yeah, I mean, like, how the fuck do you live in Irvine, California on that low amount of money?
You have a camper, right? Or at least a
You,
van.
you're willing to room? Are you gonna live in the office? No, like, and that's probably part of the problem too, is they keep firing devs and they can't afford in office devs, which they need for their lead QA. And also, do you want to be lead QA for any game for that low amount of money?
I mean,
Like,
yeah,
are you kidding?
and for Blizzard at that,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's like they're just lowballing it so that people will come in and negotiate higher, but not too high. It might be that they expect people are going to come in and negotiate up. So they're like, all right, let's just floor the price then.
I mean, why not just offer like California minimum wage at that point?
Bad optics.
City Skylines has me checking Google Maps for how to make effective roads and streets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's tons of videos you can
Oh yeah.
watch.
I was
If you want information on this
so
stuff.
like one of the biggest endorsements that I have for this game's like the economic systems and stuff is that I was building cities and stuff, and then on a whim, I was like just looking at Google Maps of my neighborhood and stuff, and I realized my cities looked like my neighborhood and functioned very similarly to it too.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they kind of got it. All right. What
Listen, you get a free WoW subscription if you get the 18 to 23 an hour.
What I need to
So
do,
maybe that extra 15 a month will
probably start cutting taxes a bit. You can subsidize people
it's a
too.
benefit.
Look at that. Now uneducated people get UBI.
Man, how would you even figure that out? Like, because I don't think like the local municipality is gonna know if you have a fucking diploma. Is it like do you apply for these
It's weird.
benefits?
It's weird that it's based off of education level because there's an issue in the simulation with seniors who retire but they don't have enough money to actually retire with. So they basically immediately go poor, and it becomes compounded if they're a caretaker as well. So you'll have like a house where they have 2 kids living with them and then a senior. And it's like, okay, nobody's making money in that household. And wouldn't you know it, they're all like wretchedly poor. And it's just like, can I just get like a policy for, giving people retirement?
Managing retirement on the municipal level. Do I have to claim my WoW sub time on my W-2 then? I mean, I think if Blizzard was giving it to you as a bonus, you would actually have to report it. Right? If they were giving it to you as a benefit?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? It's $15 a month. It's like wait, $200 a year?
Yeah, it's really not that much. Odds are they're probably paying if there's any tax on it, they're probably paying it on their end. I wouldn't.
But what's to stop me from buying a property in a low-income neighborhood and saying, nah, I don't have a diploma? Yeah, see,
you're asking too many questions here.
Policy has always been the weakest part of CS, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because you don't get to enforce like parking minimums, which I think would be hilarious.
Listen, they're from Finland. Their government works so efficiently. They just don't need policies and stuff.
If you're making $20 an hour in Cali, it's probably safe from IRS meddling. True. No, I don't think that they had a person in mind for the position, because it's not like I was browsing someone was browsing the careers and opportunities page at Blizzard. One of the SOD devs actually asked if anybody knew somebody that would be good for the position. That's why it's extra funny, because I don't think they have somebody in mind for it. They actually want to find somebody that's willing to work for that low amount of money.
Really? Yeah, because it could have been that too. You'll see companies do that from time to time where they kind of post like a fake job posting because what they're really doing is they just want to get like some applications in or whatever, kind of field it out, but really they're looking to just promote internally. That's hilarious.
Our business would do it because our corporate policy was
Right.
supposed to protect against
Right.
Against that sort of thing. So there was always like for show
Yeah,
job openings.
You would also get that too. Some companies are like legally required to post job postings as well. So who knows? But yeah, no, it sounds like they really were just. Listen, the video game industry is in a rough state right now. It's in a rough patch.
But what about like Helldivers 2 and Manor Lords and all these games that have come out this year that have done well?
No. Those are indie games, okay? They're not AAA or quadruple A games.
What I want to know is if you're like Bobby Kotick, right? If you just go in and like ruin a company, like Blizzard was the golden egg factory and he ruined it.
Yeah.
How do you get another job?
Ask the dude who just fucking had to leave, what's it called? Unity.
Yeah, he had multiple jobs.
Mm-hmm. And
Riccatello?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird to me because
fuck upwards, man.
Yeah. And it's got to be just like nepotism and connections,
Yeah,
because
it's usually how it goes.
if I'm looking for like who's most qualified to be a CEO in a position, and I see that like at their previous job they ran it into the ground to siphon profits, I'm like, I don't know if I want them
Well,
as the CEO, because I want this to be a long-term business. I don't want, 10 years of
unless
short-term profit taking.
unless you're not. Unless you are also looking for that like super short term game. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we need cash now so that I can retire in 2 years with a better, compensation package. There's a lot of that goes on in just in business in general.
It's just weird that the games industry has
So
cannibalized
so
itself
self
so much for
it
these short
it
term.
is yeah, because projects take forever, like in the video game industry, and they're taking longer still. So it's like you would think then reputation would be everything to a company. Like that's what you need to protect because that's what's going to sell your games. That's what's going to keep you floating between different projects and stuff. Because
Well,
you want
what I don't get is,
you want to be able to say to investors or publishers or whatever, be like, look, we have X amount of players and stuff like that are engaged, blah 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 blah. We have good reputation. Like here's our stats, basically. That you would assume that's how you would want to play it.
if you were an executive at Blizzard, wouldn't you want to just like keep a position and have the company stay like super viable?
I mean, yeah,
Like, yeah, you're going to cash out a lot of those short-term profits, but I guess it's just like investors are so averse to like short-term or long-term, like consistent low volatility money making, that
yeah.
they see ruthlessly cashing out as like the only way to do it.
It's also just a young industry still. We really
Hmm.
don't have like a business guru like in the industry yet. Like the people still just don't really know how like monetization even works and all this stuff. So
I don't know. Like Todd Howard's been in the business longer than I've been alive. Like,
yeah, but think about how the industry's changed so much. It's
yeah, but at the same time, it's like the same fundamental core. You make a product and then you sell it.
not if not if you're Justin Truman.
Hmm. Yeah, but it hasn't really changed. It's just added new forms of monetization. What is going on with that intersection?
It's yeah. What is going on here? Oh, I see what's going on. Here's how we fix this.
It's not even an infinite growth model. It's
One
like
way only. One way
it's
only.
just like corporate rating. I don't get how those guys get away with it more than once before, the boards of directors look at it and go, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't bring this guy in to manage our company."
Yeah, look at that. Now we got can only make a right here, and there's no traffic light. And look at that. It's like clearing up and stuff. This is actually one of my favorite things to do. This is one of the I hated fixing traffic problems in CS1 because you had like no tools to really do it. Uh, and even if you implemented a smart solution, the AI just couldn't figure out how to actually use it. But now the tools are good and everything like that. So this is actually one of my favorite things to do now is just look for bottlenecks and fix them. And this
It's
is
funny.
all it took. This will clear up in like 5 more minutes.
It's funny that we had to learn the lesson that corporatization of media companies was a bad idea again. Like private media companies seem to do so well. I don't know why you would ever think that like a company going public was a good thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't
Why
know.
didn't that fix take 2 years and several city council meetings to solve? This game is very unrealistic. Well, see, the city has a dictator who gets supreme power to enact these fixes and acts benevolently.
Oh,
City Skylines makes you run a city like an AI would run your city.
yeah. Oh, here's a car accident. I mean, you say I'm benevolent, but we still don't have like fire or police services. Actually, I'm probably gonna need. Yeah, the crime's like out of control. Okay, it's time for the police. You get a police department, all right, guys. Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. That's what I was waiting for. Was a huge surplus. All right, never mind, guys. You get everything.
Can you build a functioning city that maximizes human suffering? Oh yeah, this is
Oh,
City Skylines.
oh yeah. No,
Oh
no,
yeah.
there's homelessness now in this game.
Oh, that's great.
I wonder if I have.
If you don't solve the rent problem, you have to deal with homeless people.
Yep. Do I have the mod that shows it? I mean, I think it's like buried in here, actually. Yeah,
no, I can kind of see that SOD was honestly probably trying to turn classic players into retail players. That's the only purpose it was trying to serve. It's like, if you liked this, then you'll like retail.
Here's unemployment. How's our unemployment doing? Oh. Yes.
Can you make anti-homeless structures?
No, you cannot. I mean, I guess you could just delete the the parks that they would be hanging out at. Okay, so this is why a lot of people are complaining about high rent, and this is probably due to my taxation
I was thinking about a premise for a stream. You do City Skylines, but I get to veto decisions you make based on like YIMBY positions or like so. So it's like I don't want sidewalks built through my neighborhood because I'm worried homeless people will use them.
I like this. Oh, yeah, we're
no, it's actually funny. So they've been gradually putting sidewalks in my town for the last like 2 decades, and the people that end up walking in this town don't use them. They just keep walking down the side of the road.
What? Why?
I think like legitimately they're so zonked out they don't even realize that there's like a sidewalk they could walk on.
Oh,
and
so
part of it's like poor urban planning.
Yeah. So it is like actually like homeless people and stuff that are just wandering around.
I don't think it's homeless people. I think it's people who are like walking from a bar because they like weren't able to get a ride home, or one time it was a woman who was walking from the hospital. I helped her because it was like super cold out and she had no clothes on, or like she had just like a sundress.
Jesus.
But like, no, like this town does the bare minimum to help people who are without cars, even like even just temporarily. Like it's one thing to be, it's one thing to like have a policy of like trying to push your citizens to own cars. It's another thing that like even if a person was forced to go without one for a day, that their standard of living would become just untenable.
Yeah, you kind of have that where I live too. Yeah, it's a consideration. It's an ordeal to like have to get any sort of work done in your vehicle. It's just like I can't be without my vehicle. It's like,
yeah,
so
it's the same thing here. So what happens here is you have to maintain some level of familial connection, because if you have an issue with your vehicles,
yes,
you call on your family members
yes,
to loan you one.
Yeah, that's basically the dilemma that I'm facing, because I'm looking at houses upstate. I live on Long Island. My family all lives down here. So my strategy is going to be, if I need to do routine maintenance and stuff, I'm going to drive down here, get it done down here, see my family at the same time, and then go back up home.
See, I'm committed to living without a car, so
I mean that
comes with a huge downsides, which is heavily limiting on where I can even live.
Yeah. Well, I was reading about downtown Detroit. No,
it's on the up. No, I always hear it's on.
Yeah, yeah. Like they just had like this huge event. Like 600,000 people showed up for like some NFL event and everything, and like they were kind of like showing off the city, and people were like, wow, it's actually like really nice. Like they're converting old office buildings into like nice like apartment buildings and stuff, and they're like really focusing on like walkability and bikeability and public transit and like human infrastructure. And it's just like,
I
all
don't know where they
right,
got the money.
I don't know. Well, um it's probably the state. They're probably getting like state and federal funding and stuff. Like, remember, um what is it? Michigan is like a pretty wealthy state. It's
Yeah.
just like Detroit itself that was fucked. Like even its outside metros and stuff were still like it they like engineers live there. Like those people are going to be living somewhere. So I I think it was more just
You have to see if these things take though, because it's not the first time that these kind of like
yeah.
questionable cities
Yeah.
had these kind of like big urban renewal programs, and then they just all fall into
Well, they're beating out a lot
like
of
Chicago had that
they're
a while ago.
they're beating out a lot of other cities right now that like got fucked by COVID. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if they survive COVID, I think it's probably pretty decent. I still have to check out Pittsburgh. That's on my to do list. Like drive up there and see how that all looks.
Do you know about the shadowy figure theory?
What is that?
It has something to do with coaxing people into retail. All right, we'll have to see what he says.
Coaxing people into like working in retail?
Yeah. What's weird is that America was founded pre-automobiles, yet we're still a country full of cities that aren't walkable. Well, I mean, we destroyed
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of the old infrastructure that did exist.
Like they just went through and leveled entire like historic neighborhoods. That's why like historic zoning and stuff like that is like, or historical zoning, I think they call it, is such a big thing now in a lot of cities. It's like, yeah, this is our 4 buildings that exist. Like this is all that's left from when this
Hmm.
town was founded, like 200 years ago. Like, where did all the rest of it go? Oh, we bulldozed it, turned it into a strip mall. Don't you like the strip mall that has no businesses in it and just like crackheads hanging out in front of it? We installed the crosswalk. It's signaled too. The signal doesn't work half
Hmm.
the time, but it's there. It lights up.
Yeah, old pedestrian infrastructure is always funny to see. New England has a lot of old buildings. Only appreciate it more as I get older. No, like it's a cool thing to see
I think I'm gonna
old
have to.
structures in an area that gives like a long-term historical continuity.
I might have to forcefully evict these people now. This becomes a
No,
thing too, where like they won't move at. This might be another bug in the AI is that sometimes like even though they're like flat broke, well it says they're
no,
wealthy.
people do this sometimes. They just they probably won't move until like their wealth like they lose a lot of their wealth to that high rent.
No, no,
So
no,
like there's
no.
this.
Apparently it is like somebody looked at the code and stuff, and it's like busted. So a lot of the time they just won't move out of their house, even though they want to move out of the house. It's just like the code just won't execute.
Have you ever seen the place and then the person looking at place Japan meme?
No.
Like they're mad at place America, and then they see place Japan and they're like super soy jack. This gets posted every time somebody like goes to Japan and like appreciates it, which it's funny because like I feel like that leaves out the context of the places that they're visiting.
Mm-hmm. Man, this is
Oh, you're as
really
okay.
fucked up.
He wasn't talking about moving into retail like industry. He's talking about retail WoW. The shadowy figure that keeps popping up in SOD has a resemblance to a character in retail WoW. That's the avatar of an ancient dagger. So people speculate it's trying to link retail and SOD. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there is supposed to be a canonical continuity to the fact that classic exists.
Oh, I see what's going on here. The parking lot is causing traffic.
Oh, people trying to get into the parking lot.
Yeah, yeah. This might fix it though. See, it's like it's little details like that. Like this happens in real life. Somebody puts a parking lot somewhere, they or like just an on ramp into like something. They didn't think it through all the way. The engineers didn't do a good enough job. They didn't do the study well enough, and then suddenly this happens.
America's a great shock to Europeans because you cannot walk from coast to coast in a day or two, and to drive it, it may take a week. Well, I always look at the smaller scale. That's the thing that Americans love to say is like, America's so big. Yeah, America's big, but I think what also shocks Europeans is that like when they stay at the hotel, they're like stuck in there because they can't walk anywhere.
Yeah.
And like how hostile it is just to go places in the town that they're in.
Yeah, it's why like Vegas, the freaking resorts are like so self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
My friend went to a convention out there for his job, and he spent a week there, and he literally never left the resort.
Yeah, it's like the Disneyland approach.
Yeah.
Disneyland is like tuned around the American automobile, kind of being the center of life. And so if you want to give people that experience, you kind of got to make everything.
I like how Disneyland has or whatever the one is in Florida. They have their own highway placards.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah, they were trying to be like their own municipality.
Yeah. That's
No,
nuts.
what was funny was Disneyland workers getting displaced by people moving to Orlando
Yeah.
and buying up all of the cheap property and driving up the cost of living so much that the workers couldn't afford to live there because people who worked from home wanted to live near Disney World or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Disney World, I think it is. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pay attention.
Listen, Vegas is a 24-hour city. You can go out at night. It is the desert, so it'll be cold, but you won't get sunburnt at night.
All right, yeah, it is clearing up a bit.
They can live in the Disney tunnels. No, I remember they were like forming food banks and stuff to try to help people just afford to live that were working at Disney.
What the fuck? That's some dystopic shit right there.
No, it
When are
was
they
just
gonna
a
when are they gonna
hilarious.
start handing out script?
Yeah.
When is the Disney General Store opening up?
No, what was fucking it up wasn't even Disney.
I
It was
know
people it was the adult children that wanted to live near Disney World. No, Disney did try to take a stab at like creating the modern mining town, and they did get slapped down. Some seasonal employees lived in company owned dorms. Blizzard?
Yeah, maybe that's how they're doing it.
Yeah, you gotta
Rooster
live at the
Teeth?
office.
Rooster Teeth?
Yeah, because they were in Austin, Texas. So.
Yeah. Well, it was cheap when they started. Apparently it's getting cheap again. It's there
because if people realize that Austin fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's still Texas.
Yeah.
Like,
still hot as balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have
No, Austin just does that where it'll have waves of people coming in to live there because it's cool, and then moving out when it stops being cool due to everybody moving there, and then like the cycle will
My
repeat.
God, it really is a town of hipsters.
Mm-hmm. No, like they refuse to live there if it gets too noticed.
I like keep Austin weird.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is their road system sucks. Like their interstate setup over there is just atrocious.
Where are the soulful curved roads?
It's right here. To get down, to get down the mountainside. Curved roads. Here's a curve. Actually,
I used to live there. The idea that Vegas never sleeps is way off. It does from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. Dude,
yeah,
that's so weird. Isn't the point of Vegas that it's like a 24-hour
yeah.
city?
New York City.
Like I've heard of
New York City is a 24-hour city. I can attest to that.
people moving to Vegas because they had like sleeping disorders and they wanted stuff to be open when they were awake.
Ooh,
Waiting for all the hipsters to similarly abandon Asheville. That's
Asheville,
North
North
Carolina, right?
Carolina? Oh,
Yeah.
don't tell me that. I was actually kind of interested in Asheville.
No, I was trying to warn you about that. That there was like a big rush of people trying to move to Asheville.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was looking at that, and I was looking at
Do you know that Mr. Beast is the biggest lobbyist in North Carolina?
what?
Yeah, Mr. Beast, the YouTuber, he's the biggest lobbyist in North Carolina. I think he lives there.
Yeah, yeah, he's from the. What do you mean he's the biggest lobbyist? Like he's
Like
lobbying.
in their state legislature.
What the fuck? What is he even lobbying for?
I don't know, but apparently he's spending more money than any other lobbyist.
What the fuck? Oh, I'm actually sorry, developers. That's the wrong zoning.
Let's find out. Why does Mr. Beast have more registered lobbyists in North Carolina
What
than
the?
Airbnb, Tesla, and Meta?
What the fuck? He's trying to lobby to keep everybody. He's trying to lobby to keep North Carolina weird.
Mr. Beast responds to backlash after buying out a North Carolina neighborhood.
Oh my god. I need it for a video, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason. Like he's trying to loosen up the laws so that he can increase those fucking Squid Games that he's running.
Yeah. I'm gonna be donating that to like a bunch of people, man. It's philanthropic, okay. Crime rate's still high.
Well, listen, if I had more money than God, I would probably do something similar.
I'd be. I would just buy a fucking island somewhere and just move there. Or like a super. Actually, that's probably what I would do. I'd get like one of those super yachts and I would just live, like, live the
Well,
nomad
see,
life.
that's the lazy solution. The big brain solution is if you have a problem with the multimodal transportation in your city, just buy it out.
Who says I want to fix problems for other people? I'm rich, bitch. I got mine. Yeah, we'll put a little bit of. I really should be putting down some parks at this point. I'm still missing some services, I think. But I also kind of don't care too much.
Blizzard is in a human resources death spiral, and the Cataclysm launch disaster is a symptom. Bro, I've been saying it for years. I've been saying it since the breast milk thing. I feel like nobody noticed that, like, for years before the breast milk thing, that they had been, like, annually laying off, like, hundreds of people.
Wait. Excuse me? What is this breast milk thing?
We do this every time this topic comes up. You forget that we've talked about this. Do you remember that they were stealing women's breast milk from Blizzard employees were stealing women's breast milk that were working there?
No, I don't remember this.
Yeah, this was in. Do you remember the Cosby suite?
No.
They had a suite with like a picture of Bill Cosby where they would make rape jokes.
What is?
Yeah,
Oh,
you should look into like
this is the shit that they were getting sued for.
Yeah, this is
that they need to get bought out.
Yeah. But yeah, like one of the tagline ones is the some of the Blizzard employees were like stealing mother's breast milk that they were producing at work.
Why? Can I ask why?
My personal theory was always that if you have a low like attachment to your job, like you think that no matter what you do, you're going to get fired anyways.
You're gonna just behave like this?
Well, I mean, okay, if you're like a 20-year-old guy
Mm.
and you're working at Blizzard, it's like your first job, but you feel like you're guaranteed to be cut because you're like in a new position, and it's like it doesn't matter how hard you work.
Yeah.
You're gonna just treat your job like it's an extension of college.
Yeah, except you still want, like, good references. Like, I don't think a company's gonna want to hire somebody who is going around stealing women's
They
breast
didn't think they
milk.
were gonna get caught.
Like, um, maybe I'm asking like a stupid question here, but why is there breast milk in the office?
Like if a mother's nursing and she wants to produce milk for her child when at home,
Okay.
she can do it throughout the day.
Okay, okay. All right. Since we're talking about children, let's build some playgrounds for the kids. What is this doing? And we'll give them a playground at the school too. What's this? A high school with like kind of an appropriate footprint. I like how people complain that like elementary schools and stuff take up too much space in CS2, and that like you need to put down too many elementary schools and stuff, and that it's like unrealistic and stuff. And it's like, no, no, no. I'll tell you what's unrealistic. An elementary school that has 1,000 kids, like a real elementary school is like 300, and it's 4 times the size of this. At least in America. Maybe in Europe
Okay,
it's different.
here's a clip of the other time that we talked about there being breast milk theft.
Oh,
I guess I alluded to it. I didn't actually.
yeah. I was probably just like, okay, yeah, yeah. I probably assumed you were doing like a bit or something, or like
Yeah.
referencing some sort of meme. Because I've heard you say this before. I think you said it the other night when we were playing WoW. I just assumed it was like
because we were playing a Blizzard product, and I was making jokes about them stealing breast milk, and you're like, oh, that's Pat.
Yeah.
You can fake work references. You can't fake the taste of breast milk. There was also cameras in the women's restrooms.
Holy shit. Where's... Can I, like, pin that message? That's beautiful.
Look, listen, the secret to Golden Age Blizzard was breast milk. They didn't want the truth to get out that they were buying, like, gallon drums of breast milk from China.
That was their phylactery. What is the fucking word?
Phylactery?
Yeah, phylactery. That's what got them through. This is what built classic WoW.
It was a tough development process, you know?
Is that why what was that quote? Like, if, like, we didn't want to, after World of Warcraft, we didn't want to do, like, another
MMO, and we all ended up working on MMOs.
Yeah.
That's why Mark Kern, who worked on WoW, cares so much about tits in video games, is because the secret was breast milk. That's why they didn't want people to find the cow level.
Amazing.
No, I'm surprised you made it this far without hearing the breast milk story.
What? What? Why? How?
There was a
how does that become a thing?
How does it become a prolific issue?
Yes.
I remember.
Like, why isn't the
I'm gonna.
first person who did that like getting ejected so hard out the door that everybody goes, "Hey, I'm not going to steal breast milk." Like it's baffling. Like just say it out loud. Like I don't want to steal breast milk in my workplace anymore. Like it,
They were. I remember Jim Sterling covering it. That they were like. They were. What was it? They were like. I think they wanted to mandate like pregnancy tests for the health insurance checkup for women to know when they were going to be pregnant and go on maternity leave.
I don't think that's even legal.
No, it wasn't. That's why it was an issue. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right. Hey chat. How we doing? Are we doing all right here? Keeping up with the breast milk talk? I hope I don't get demonetized for that. That would be unfortunate. I don't know what the fuck. My AC just started making some weird ass noise. Listening to this while playing Skyrim has been a treat. Yeah, that's... So I was going to... The reason this stream's even happening is, one, I was going to do a video on City Skylines 2, and then I canceled it because I just want to focus on Skyrim and stuff. But also, I kind of wanted to, like, try and do, like, a Let's Play or something like that. I want to just, like, make more just content that people can kind of just throw on in the background between working on videos and stuff. So I was like sitting down last night trying to like record like a Let's Play, and I realized Let's Plays are just my live streams without like, you know, chat to interact with. And it was lame as fuck. So I just immediately like bailed on it after like 30 minutes. So yeah, so now we're just gonna do a live stream. I want to do more going forward. I mean, I have to stream Starfield now. I can't believe I agreed to that. And then it actually happened.
Sorry, had to man it up for this next poll with some ice cold milk.
So is the WoW project dead at this point? No. The WoW project is after Skyrim. The WoW project's alive and well. Like I have a lot.
We're just waiting on phase 4.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to just working on it instead of playing it.
Let's see. What do we got? What do we need? I'll unlock the intersections just to show you like why they're cursed. I think this is enough space here.
Oh yeah, did you ever explain that the canceled video idea edition thing was not about... I feel like that was a risky title because people are going to be like, is it the Skyrim video? Is it the WoW video?
Oh. No, it's just... It's just a City Skylines video. So, what happens here? It's like, okay, that looks good. But, oh, maybe this one doesn't have this issue. Or they fixed it. Huh. It used to be like you couldn't build in this region because... Oh, you know what?
There was like a square hitbox around the...
I don't think it was this one, actually. I think it was... I'm not seeing it anymore, actually. They might have actually fixed it. Because, yeah, there used to be like a zone, like a grid around these, and you just couldn't build in that area.
What about the Destiny therapy video? I don't think either of us felt too strongly about doing that, and
yeah, it's
something that like it deserves to be covered, but it needs to be covered by somebody who can dedicate like full time to a project to it.
yeah, and we got enough. We got enough things cooking.
Yeah, I gotta get more videos out.
Yeah.
Is this a 15-minute city? Listen, if you dare travel out of the 15-minute city, you will be killed. You'll be executed.
What is a 15-minute city?
It's a city where everything. I actually don't know. I think it's a city where everything that you need access to as a pedestrian is within 15 minutes of you.
Oh, that's kind of
So
neat.
more neighborhood grocery stores, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Or like
I guess they fixed that
parks in
issue.
your area.
Okay. Intersections are, I mean, the problem with the interchanges still is that they're just not really super well designed for capacity, so they like clog up and everything, but you do have options to like upgrade them and stuff. So it's not all right. So it's not as bad. Oh, this building got abandoned. Why did they abandon it? Small homes, high crime. Oh yeah,
No, like
this is
central.
this is a dumb thing. These buildings, like high density buildings, always have. Wait, what the fuck? Uh, what? These people are saying these are spacious homes, and they're getting a bonus. What the? What?
Is this in Chinatown? So it's like the Hong Kong residents or the Hong Kong immigrants are like, look at this 200 square foot
Huh?
apartment. I have so much room.
Was that fixed? Because there used to be an issue, like see it with this, where they're complaining about small homes, and it's like, yeah, it's small homes because it's an apartment building. Why are you moving into an apartment building if you don't want a small house? What? There's still elements to this game. See, this is why I played like over 100 hours of this, just trying to like get an idea so that I could write the script. And I still don't understand like a lot of what's going on here. Because I read online too, people are like, "Oh yeah, no, that's just like a debuff, like a permanent debuff that they put on uh, all high density buildings for some reason." I was just like, "Oh, okay. Oh, this is a massive car accident."
I forgot. Have you been on EFAP? He has not.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you had two opportunities and you turned down both of them.
I don't think I got the second one. I just didn't follow up
You
on
could I
it.
think you probably could have asked Rags about it.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. The problem with the first, I just didn't want to
The
go
first one
on.
you didn't know who they were the first time.
Well, yeah, that and also I just wouldn't really have anything to contribute to that. I really, I felt like I was just going to be like a third wheel on that.
Yeah, you were gonna take up a slot.
Yeah, and with how
I mean, it was
good,
a legendary
yeah, with
stream,
how
so
good that stream ended up being, it's like I feel like my presence could have only hindered it because it was just like it was perfect. That was such a good stream. No, I mean, you know, hey, I
they just
can't
share
listen.
games and they'll be receding back to Marvel.
Listen, people insist. There's some people out there who insist that I'm just a parasite on your.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
can't.
you gotta start doing the left wing grift so that I can use you one day for like to get interviews with left wing people.
I don't know about that.
Well, I see. I think Never was cognizant that he didn't want to make another video that could be covered on EFAP. So he picked a much safer target and
Gamergate 2.
reined in his discourse on it.
Put in put in a fancy building. Yeah, look at that.
When are
That's
private sessions and Patrician TV content going to be on Nebula?
have they reached out to you?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't read my sponsorship emails.
I I got invited to something called Token.
Yeah, I mean, I've been invited to like weird video platforms before.
Yeah.
It's more a matter. Here's the problem. Here's why it won't work. In order for gaming content to ever leave YouTube, other gaming people would have to like start that charge.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be the first one to jump. So
Yeah. Well, and like so like the way they were pitching it to me is like, yeah, you can upload to YouTube and us and stuff. And it's like, okay, then how are you ever gonna be like
yeah, how are you ever gonna
competitive?
stand out?
Yeah, like how are you gonna be competitive? Is your viewing platform like is your viewing experience better than YouTube's? I seriously doubt it. Are you like
Is there actually a Gamergate 2? No, it's worse than that. It's actually just unironically like the culture war part of Gamergate 1, but part 2.
yeah.
So like it's not about ethics and journalism. It's just the journalists are on like the one side of it.
It's it's something I really don't want to engage with because it's an election year and like literally once the election year started, this popped up and I'm like, okay. Yep, I in an age where we had in a post Twitter files age and you had like those companies get busted for like literally bot farming, like a bunch of them got I think it was like Johnson and Johnson, like just a bunch of companies you would never expect. And like they were bot farming to like, you know, boost shit on Twitter. And as I'm like, I just don't give a fuck about what's going on Twitter anymore. I can't trust any of it. Why am I going to get wrapped up in all this crap?
I think it's even worse than that. I wish the government was manipulating people into participating in this. I think it's just Twitter grifters.
It very well
Like
could
they
be.
have Twitter Blue, and they're trying to farm engagement from this, and so they're behaving slightly more outrageously than they actually believe, just so that they can.
Oh, hey, we got a mixed housing now, which doesn't really work all too well in this game. Like it satisfies the demand, but like there's something off with like how it's simulated. I try not to use it all that often. We can put some of it in, I guess. I don't even really have like a plan for this anymore.
I remember when this got announced that somebody was complaining that there was like on street parking and like lots of cars in the trailer.
Oh yeah. They're like, oh look, you're just gonna be encouraged to build like American cities and like you can't build like car-free cities and stuff.
Yeah, that was like the dumbest argument I had ever seen. I've seen some dumb arguments on Twitter, but I feel like that's missing the point of City Skylines. Like, City Skylines could be a tool to be like, hey, this sucks, and this is what your town is doing. Why don't you try a bus network?
Yeah. And
Why did your bus
that's
network break down? Because it's sharing traffic with other cars? Okay, why don't you try like building unique or its own infrastructure?
and like oh that's like a lot of what the simulation actually ends up doing is like you end up realizing like, oh, I'm just like building strong towns. Like
Yeah.
I don't know like why these guys are still complaining about not enough customers. This is one of those things where it's like this is probably bugged. But if you notice the
I experienced that a lot in CS1 too.
yeah. Oh, there's another thing that I haven't mentioned is that you have businesses that serve residential, and then you have businesses that serve industries. So, or commercial, I should say, that serves industries. So what you actually want to do is zone a little bit of like commercial around your industrial areas and your office areas as well. And you'll get like specific like you'll get car dealerships that pop up around here, companies that deal with like plastics and like raw materials and things like that. You'll see them like pop up over here and it's just like, oh, that's interesting. Another thing that the game doesn't really explain, and I had to learn that from the dev diaries. How did I unlock the production? I did unlock the production tab. Okay, so here's where it starts getting interesting. You can produce like these are the raw materials that you can extract and produce in your city, and then this goes and feeds into this. So I don't even have any companies that are using rock right now. but like rock will be used for like making concrete and stuff. And I don't know, they're doing something here. I think they are using it. Oh, I see. Yeah, there's no deficit. It's confusing, like the way they word this, because like this surplus, what this really means is that we're exporting 460 tons of this.
Does
So,
this game take into account people coming from out of town to work?
um, I don't think there's commuters for working, but there are commuting students who will come in just for the semester and then leave. I know that exists apparently, and there's tourists too. Yeah, you don't really get commuters. Yeah, so like basically what you kind of want to start to do after a point, like this is kind of where you want to start doing it, is looking at what's being used. Like what do you have like a deficiency in? Petrochemicals is like a good one to get like focused on because so many businesses use this sort of stuff. And then you just try and build out this industry. It'll lower the cost of those goods, increasing profitability for your local businesses and stuff, which just makes them more efficient and makes them richer. And businesses are richer, citizens become richer. They believe in the trickle down economics in this game.
Hmm. Hmm. True.
Oh, what time is it? It's getting a little late. I might want to start wrapping up soon.
All right, chat. Final questions. We'll be answering them for probably the next 4 hours.
Yeah. This is not. I was only like half paying attention while doing this city, so it's not very efficient by any means. But
I mean, you've made
it's
a
not
lot of
bad.
money, so
Yeah, yeah, that is true. I'm running a pretty good surplus right now. I didn't even get into like my aggressive taxation and then cutting city services down to the bone. Like I'd usually like when I first start like cut everything down to like basically nothing. This is
did you guys
funny. Uh,
did you guys watch the new Skywind video? Looked very promising. No, but I'm way more into the what they're doing with various Project Tamriel offshoots.
yeah, you were telling me that we should try playing that sometime.
Yeah, loading it up into TES 3MP, and I propose specifically the Skyrim one because you're doing Thieves Guild, and part one of the towns they have is Riften in Morrowind era.
Ah,
For the Snorfield stream, can we have a schizo counter for it? Which part is schizo, or that we would be counting? I'll ask you this. Which Gauss rifle from Fallout do you prefer? The one from Fallout 3 at New Vegas or the one from 476?
uh, I never really used the Gauss rifle.
See, I only used it in the Fallout 76.
That was that the
I think I
one?
didn't even use it right.
Was that the one that like shot lightning, like electricity? Or is that?
I think it I think it shoots like a fast projectile. So it's a magnetic weapon.
Hmm.
So I think in Fallout 76 you're supposed to charge it up.
Oh, okay.
I only ever got one. Have either of you played a randomized version of a game? I played Noida.
And I think they're talking about like a
Yeah, I
randomizer
know.
mod, and no, I haven't.
I was always wondering when one for Morrowind would be made, and I think one exists now. For any moments that feel like a Fallout 4 schizo moment. Are you specifically referring to like how you can't say anything about Fallout 4 without having like something wrong with it?
I think they're just talking about like when something happens in the game, like just some absurd moment, like an
Right.
NPC does something stupid or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, what would you do in Starfield?
Yeah, does Starfield even really have? Oh, what am I gonna do for the stream?
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea.
All right, you should explore the Crete planet, the unnecessary planet with the pirate dungeon on it, because there is actually like various POIs that you can see.
Really? There's unique POIs in there?
Yeah, I went to one and there was like a quest with a ship captain who thought that I was this person she was supposed to be meeting.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Did
That.
that show up on another planet?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay,
That's
to be
just
clear,
like
I
a.
don't think they're unique. I just think that you should try exploring
Yeah.
that planet on like a new character.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do a new cam. Will
Oh,
I?
you know what else you could do? Buying, trying to make enough money to buy a ship before you go to Constellation. So like try to make as much money as you can on the first planet, and then try to make as much money as you can when you're in the like New Atlantis Jemison space.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. God, what sucks is like that's actually gonna require some knowledge on
I don't
Starfield.
think I don't think that takes too much effort. You just gotta like kind of full clear the first planet, and then go to New Atlantis and like explore the POIs there.
Question: Can I turn up the carry capacity?
Well, you could just use the ship.
Yeah, the Frontier with its like 400 pounds of carry
Oh,
capacity.
true. Um,
I mean, I could do the thing where like you just
well, you're
inventory
playing the
dump on the
beta, right?
floor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd be playing the beta.
Yeah, so you could modify the settings to increase your storage capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you store things on a ship in its hold and then switch ships and like get a new
Yes.
hold? You could take over the Crimson Fleet ships and add them to your fleet and just like can you switch ships on the fly though? I don't think you can do that.
You have to go to the shipmaster. But what happens is that it transfers whatever's in the ship's inventory to the next
To the
ship.
next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't expand your inventory by having multiple ships
I
that you switch between.
yeah, I don't think so. I
Hmm.
forget what happens when there's not enough
Discuss the
inventory.
city infrastructure in a Starfield city. There's a video about that by yet another urbanist, I think.
Oh yeah. Forgot he did a Skyrim video. Is that really what it was about? Was like the
I think he was talking more generally about Starfield.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's very interesting. I think he's in our space, like or like is orbiting dangerously close.
Yeah. Don't do a Starfield video, it's a mistake. Yeah, it's funny. It's like he wants to be a gaming channel and then
Yeah,
we're
we're
like,
cutting the other direction.
yeah. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. Yeah, I really don't know what's up with this
I
whole.
haven't gone back to check to see if it spawns, but if I remember correctly, there's a glow dust at Bruma's Mage's Hall at level 2, so I believe you can do a Zura's quest. I think there's a different um the the Azura's quest has a thing on where you can get glow dust, and I think the only consistent way to do it is to do the Fighters Guild, and because there's a quest that spawns Will o' the Wisps as part of the Oblivion Fighters Guild, and to get it from them. But yeah, the UESP has a section on Azura's quest about how to get glow dust. Oh no, you're right. There's one sample in the Bruma Mages Guild in the living quarters.
Really? It's only been 3.5 hours? I feel like I'm going longer than that.
Below level 9, the only way to obtain glow dust, other than the one sample in the Bruma Mages Guild and 3 vendor samples, is one from 6 quest-specific non-respawning Will-o'-the-Wisps that are encountered. These 6 can be encountered at any level, but only once the relevant quest has been started. You have to do Blood on the Daedra from the main quest, or you have to do the Fighter's Guild quest.
Somebody
Nice.
say Oblivion.
Isn't Azura's quest like level 2 though?
It's the one to like kill the
Oh,
vampires, right?
oh, right, but we're talking about this in the context of not being able to do it because you stay at level 1. Right. Sorry, you can't just out of left field bring this up and then not bring up why we're talking about it. But yes, it's the vampire one. It's the one you get sent to as part of the main quest if you don't have any other
So that
capabilities.
you can go and sacrifice the fucking star.
Sacrifice. I really want data on how many people did that.
And then it's like 3 years later, and they're like, "Wait, that did what? I sacrificed what?"
Yeah. Can you give Umbra to Martin? I think it's only the mask.
Yeah.
Umbra's not a Daedric item or artifact in Oblivion.
So, I don't know when I'm going to be streaming next. Can't be this weekend. I'm busy this weekend. What is today, Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're supposed to check tomorrow or Friday what's going on with the LFG during peak.
I feel like Friday we're going to have a better shot at it.
Yeah.
So, maybe tomorrow I'll do the Starfield stream. I don't think I have anything else.
Seems pretty soon. Listen, you gotta pace yourself, you know? You can't stream in spurts and then disappear for 8 months.
Says you. No, I was telling chat, like, I kind of want to do more impromptu streams. Because I did the thing that I was telling you about the other night. Trying to do, like, a Let's Play thing. I record for, like, 30 minutes, and I was just like, this sucks.
Yeah, no, Let's Playing sucks.
Yeah. I was like, I wouldn't fucking watch this. So why should I expect other people to watch this? It's live streams without the audience, without like the chat interaction stuff. And
some people think that chat interaction is like a bad thing, that it brings down the quality of the stream.
Yeah, if you got a shitty chat, but I mean, you know, one dude had such a funny thing, I had to fucking pin that. Like, it's the audience that you cultivate, you know? You hear that, guys? I'm complimenting you. Don't get used to it. But, yeah, I think tomorrow... Oh, God, I have to fucking install Starfield. Do I even have the hard drive space for it? I think I do. It's getting uninstalled.
Looking for any excuse.
Once the stream's over. Yeah, I'm already looking for the exit. Yeah,
I think Let's Plays are heavily dependent on the game more than anything.
I think City Skylines 2 could make an interesting Let's Play if it's like super edited, and that's like what I was gonna do. I was gonna like edit it down, like basically take like a grand strategy game's a good example. You take a 60-hour campaign, you like edit it down into like an hour or two video. I think that would be like a worthwhile Let's Play. But, you know, like the whole just like sitting there playing it from start to finish, unedited and stuff, like,
I feel like if you're gonna do a challenge, you can't do the Starfield stream tomorrow because you have to announce it so the guy can see it.
Yeah. Well, then maybe we'll have to do it Friday then. And just hope we got some players on World of Warcraft tomorrow.
Well, why not next week?
Remember, my my shit expires on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, why not stream next week?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, give people like a week to...
Yeah, I don't think I have anything going on next week. I'm taking a trip upstate, like, very soon to start looking at houses. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do it next week or the week after. I think I'm going to do it the week after. So I got a couple things I have to do next week. Stream ending, you're about to just go for a walk? Yeah.
He's not me. He can't do fucking 8-hour streams.
Well, it was also like, it's like almost 10 o'clock now.
Yeah.
I made the mistake last night of staying up till 4 a.m. working. I'm a little bit tired today. Yeah, next stream will be a more EU-friendly time slot. I usually like the 1 p.m. Upstate? Do you mean real upstate or us Western folks in the boonies? You're all upstate as far as I'm concerned. Anything north of Westchester is upstate. I mean, I was looking like all over the place. I still have to dial it in. It's cheap up there, though. I did not realize how affordable it actually is. Oh, God. I know, that was a very downstate thing to say. Everything... When I was up there, because I went up there last summer, like, pretty much for the first time. I went up to Niagara Falls when I was like a kid or something like that. But last year I finally went up there like by myself. And people were just like shit-talking Southern Staters. And I was kind of like sitting there listening to them like, yeah, everything you're saying is like 100% valid. Like, it's true. And then people down here don't even know like what upstate is. But it gets worse because like there's a lot of people on Long Island who never even go into New York City. My friend, oh my God. He blew my mind the other day. He's like, I'm in this like neighborhood or whatever, in Queens. I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's like by this, and he's like, what? I was like, oh, okay, what road did you take to get there? He's like, oh, I took this highway that's on the South Shore. I was like, how the fuck are you then in Queens? He's like, no, I'm sorry, I'm in Rockville Center, which is not Queens. It's not even Brooklyn. It's fucking Southern Nassau County. And I was like, you do realize Queens is on the north side of the island, right? And Brooklyn's the south side? And he's like, no. I was like,
I'm glazing my eyes over here. I'm trying to like put this in GTA 4 terms.
What was it? Broker was Brooklyn, and what the fuck did they call Queens in I don't remember what they call Queens in Liberty City.
Dukes?
Yeah. Dukes. But yeah, basically he thought they were reversed, which is
right. Rookie mistake?
That's not even rookie mistake, that's like insanity. That is like, have you ever even looked at the city? Like, not even, because you'll have people who are like, I've lived on the island for 50 years, I've never set foot in New York City. It's like, okay, I've run into those people before, whatever. This goes beyond that. This is like, have you ever even looked at a map of New York City? Or Long Island, for that matter? It's like, I don't understand how you can, how that's possible.
Yeah, that you can live that close and know nothing about it.
Yeah, but he's also one of those people who's just like, yeah, I just punch it into my GPS and I just go. It's like, okay. You didn't realize, though, that you were heading south and not north? Like, do you know, like, the direction the sun rises and sets? I don't know. But anyways, enough talking about a location that, like, 10 people will actually understand.
Yeah, streaming.
Yeah, so, alright, next week we'll do the the obligatory Starfield stream. I don't even know. I'm gonna have to like come up with something to do with that.
No, I guarantee that like my idea is gold.
Yeah,
because you can market a challenge.
this is Skyrim challenge. I gotta.
Yeah, you still gotta do the ADHD Skyrim challenge.
Yeah.
One day, guys, one day.
I have it all set up. I just have to sit down. The problem is I just don't want to play Skyrim.
Well, you could do it to market the Skyrim video. So
that's basically my plan. Yeah. I gotta just finish recording some stuff for this video. Anyways, I'm gonna get going. Maybe I'll do some Skywriting tonight. Thank you everybody for coming out. Well, hopefully you'll see me again. I mean, I'm literally obligated to do at least one more stream because somebody paid me $50 to play Starfield.
Yeah, I actually felt like streaming today because of the 22nd anniversary of Morrowind, so
yeah, I
may stream at some point in the future as well.
Yeah, so then I'll hop on there. We could do a Morrowind Tez 3 MP stream or something like that on your channel.
Yeah, I'd have to think of what we could do. Blood Moon at level 1, that challenge, but it's 2 people. And we'll just turn it the difficulty to twice what you can by default in single player. Because remember, Tez 3 MP lets you set the difficulty higher than vanilla Morrowind. But yeah, we'll see you later, chat.